Hi, I'm Samuel L. Jackson. As a serious actor, I constantly find myself asking this question. Are you ready for some football?
People try to put us to down.
They wanted to put me out to pasture, and I'm still here. I wouldn't go back and change my life for nothing. As long as the passion is still there, the fire is still burning. It doesn't get any better.
Amazingly, it's Jerry Rice who keeps getting better. At the age of 40, the greatest receiver in NFL history is still a major force and playing best when it matters most. After a 4-game losing streak, Rice and the Raiders have now won 3 straight and are primed for a stretch run.
During that adversity, we could have just given up. But you saw the fight in us, and we fought our way out, and we knew that we had to turn this ship around, and we did.
Tonight, another big challenge for the Raiders as the New York Jets come winging into Oakland, trying to stretch their win streak to 5 on the Monday night stage. Monday Night Football.
It's the perfect matchup. Both teams are really making a move right now. It can't get any better than this. If you can't get up for Monday Night Football, then you got a problem. You're playing the wrong game.
Are you ready for some football? Put the pedal to the metal in somebody's ear. Tonight the NFL kicks it into high gear. Oakland won last year when it was do or die. Now the Jets want to get an eye for an eye. You better sit back, strap in and hold tight. It's always full throttle on Monday night. Come on and hit it. Come on and get ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party. It's a Super Bowl season. We're gonna rock, rock, rock it. Players at the ready. Alan John at the mic. All my ready friends are here for Monday night.
Last Monday, we were in San Francisco. Now we come across the bay to the East Bay, to Oakland, to the Coliseum, which opened in the mid-'60s. Sold out, noisy, spirited, and out onto the Coliseum field come the Oakland Raiders, ready to take on the New York Jets on Monday Night Football. Al Michaels with John Madden and Melissa Stark. Welcome to Oakland. It's been a season of streaks for both teams. Each has had a 4-game winning streak. Each has had a 4-game losing streak. The Jets have a current 4-game winning streak. Oakland has now won 3 straight. The winner of tonight's game will be in a tie for first place in its division. The loser will be a game back and in peril of missing the playoffs as the calendar turns to December. Well, between 1969 and 78, John Madden patrolled the sidelines here. Welcome back.
Well, I'll tell you, I drove in the parking lot tonight, and I parked right next to where I used to park as a coach. And I walked out on this field. I saw some of my ex-players, and I didn't think it would really affect me like this, but I'll tell you, I have goosebumps.
So you're coming out of retirement, right?
No. I've had enough of that. That was another guy in another life.
The New York Jets come in. They're hot, and it coincides with a quarterback change. Vinny Testaverde started the season, got hurt. They went to Chad Pennington, and he's looked real good.
Chad Pennington is something special. You know, you look at the guy, he's only started 7 games in the NFL, but he looks like a quarterback that has complete control. His father was a football coach, so he grew up as a football player. He really understands the game. And what the Jets do is they have a rhythm passing game, and Chad Pennington is a perfect rhythm passer.
When we saw the Raiders last in early November, they'd lost 4 straight. Now they won 3 in a row. They're hot again. Why the resurgence?
Well, you know, they got in a hole. They had to dig themselves out of the hole. They started against the Denver Broncos. I think it was those great players that stepped up. It was Jerry Rice. It was Rich Gannon. It was Tim Brown. It was Rod Woodson. They got him out of the hole, and they have to keep playing like that and keep him out of the hole.
This should really be a good one. Crowd very spirited. Coliseum rocking. Jets Raiders on Monday Night Football. Bear Stats are brought to you by FedEx.
BCS bids are on the line Saturday on ABC at 1 Eastern. Virginia Tech faces Ken Dorsey and Miami. At 4:30 Eastern, Washington State must win against UCLA for a trip to the Rose Bowl. Then in primetime at 8 Eastern, Oklahoma battles Colorado in the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. It's a triple header Saturday on ABC.
John Madden's video game analysis is created with Madden NFL 2003 from EA Sports. If it's in the game, it's in the game.
You have to slice it down the middle. See, so you got turkey, then duck, and then dressing, and then chicken.
Post-Thanksgiving, will Rich Gannon carve up the Jets? What kind of night will Curtis Martin have for New York on Monday Night Football?
I don't think there was a question of whether we were getting good advice or not from our old broker. We weren't getting advice.
My old broker, unless I called him, he would never call me.
For a lot of years, I just tolerated that type of treatment, and then I decided I would move my money to Schwab.
This year, investors moved more than $30 billion to Charles Schwab.
I think Charles Schwab's actually almost the opposite of a Wall Street firm.
They treat me with respect.
Well, I think they just get it.
Come see why there's never been a better time for Charles Schwab.
ABC Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
There is a major milestone just ahead for the Raiders' great wideout, Tim Brown. He's down on the field with Melissa Stark. Melissa?
Tim Brown just 4 receptions away from 1,000 for his career. Only 2 other players have done it. Tim, what will that moment mean to you?
Well, certainly it meant a lot, especially with a win. But I'm just looking to go out tonight and play a good football game and try and help this team win.
You have virtually every individual record there is to have. Heisman Trophy winner, 9-time Pro Bowler. You're locked to go into the Hall of Fame. Can you leave this game fulfilled without a ring?
Certainly not. You know, I have Jerry Rice to remind me of that almost every day at practice. You know, you play this game not for the individual awards, but for the championship. So that's what I'm here to do, trying to help this team win.
Tim, have a great night.
Thanks for listening.
All right, well, in addition to Brown, it could be a milestone night for a couple of other players as well. Jerry Rice, just 44 yards shy of extending his own NFL record with 14 1,000-yard receiving seasons. And Jets running back Curtis Martin, just 38 rushing yards shy of 10,000 for his career. So a lot to look for, Al.
Seems that Jerry Rice is on the verge of a milestone every time we see him. 200th touchdown of his career. The last time we saw him on November 11th in Denver. Sebastian Janikowski to kick off for the Raiders with 17 touchbacks, leading the league, and Chad Morton, one of the very best at running them back, averaging better than 26 yards per return. And here we go on a 57-degree beautiful night in the Bay Area. To the goal line, Morton, who's run back 2 kickoffs for touchdowns this season, gets taken down up at the 30-yard line by Eric Johnson. And let's take a look at the Jet offense.
Chad Pennington, Marshall.
Curtis Martin, Pittsburgh. Richie Anderson, Penn State.
Wayne Corbett, Hofstra.
Lavernius Coles, FSU.
Anthony Beck, West Virginia.
Jason Fabini, Cincinnati.
JP Machado, Illinois.
Kevin Mawai, LSU.
Brandon Thomas, Mississippi State.
Kareem McKenzie, Penn State.
Richie Anderson in the starting lineup, at least at the outset, but was dinged last week, didn't practice very much. As the Jets take over at the 30-yard line. And Pennington hands the ball to Curtis Martin, who tries to cut back and is tackled by Eric Barton behind the line of scrimmage. Here's the Raider D.
Trace Armstrong, Florida.
Sam Adams, Texas A&M University.
John Perella, Nebraska.
Delawrence Grant, Oregon State.
Eric Barton, Maryland.
Napoleon Harris, Northwestern.
Bill Romanowski, Boston College.
Charles Woodson, Michigan.
Derek Gibson, Louisville State. Rod Woodson, Purdue University.
Torrey James, LSU.
We'll keep an eye on Gibson tonight. He too hurt last week. Didn't play very much. Didn't practice very much. as Richie Anderson takes this short little pass and gets tackled by John Perella near the line of scrimmage.
One thing, when the Raiders have trouble on defense, Alex, usually the run when they cut back. And you saw that first run where they tried to cut back and Eric Barton was right there waiting for it. That's what they have to do. And we talked to Chuck Bresnahan the other day. He was talking about a fit. You know, they play a gap defense, and the linebackers, the defensive line, and the safeties all have to fit into a gap.
So far, so good on the first two plays. They split Anderson out to the left. Leave Martin in the backfield on 3rd down and 10. And Pennington over the middle. The pass is complete to Wayne Corbett, but well short of the first down. He's tackled by Anthony Dorsett, who will see a lot of action tonight because of the Derek Gibson injury.
Yeah, we talk about Pennington being a rhythm quarterback. 3rd and 10 is tough for a rhythm quarterback. You see this type of stuff that they throw to Wayne Corbett. That's okay if it's 1st down or 2nd down, or if it's 3rd and 2. But when you get 3rd and 10, that's not the play you need.
Matt Turk's punt bounces inside the 35 and is out of bounds at the 34-yard line. So Rich Gannon ready to come out as we take a look at the Oakland offensive 11.
Rich Gannon, Delaware.
Charlie Garner III, the untouchable University of Tennessee.
Jerry Rice, Mississippi Valley State University.
Tim Brown, Notre Dame.
Jerry Porter, West Virginia.
Roland Williams, Syracuse University.
Barry Sims, Utah.
Frank Middleton, University of Arizona.
Barrett Robbins, Texas Christian University.
Mo Collins, Florida Gators.
Lincoln Kennedy, UW.
Very potent Raider offense. Ranked 1st in passing yards per game, 2nd in points per game, averaging just 2 ticks under 30 points per contest from the 33-yard line. After a 33-yard punt, Gannon gets pressured and takes off and slides to a stop up at the 40-yard line. Let's take a look at the Jets defense.
Sean Elliott, Tennessee.
Josh Evans, UAB.
Jason Ferguson, Georgia.
John Abraham, South Carolina.
Mo Lewis, University of Georgia. Marvin Jones, Florida State.
Samuel Coward, Florida State.
Donnie Abraham, East Tennessee State.
Sam Gons, Cincinnati.
Damian Robinson, Iowa.
Aaron Beasley, West Virginia.
And going without a huddle, it's Brown making the catch across the 50 and the initial 1st down of the game at the New York 49-yard line.
You know, Rich Gannon is as close to having a coach on the field as you can get. I mean, this guy can get in the huddle, call a play, get up, make an adjustment on an adjustment, go with no huddle, tell everyone what to do. You see what he's doing here? He's audible. He's telling everyone what to do. This guy knows more about this offense than I think in anyone in the organization.
And at age 36, playing as well as ever as Garner spins out of a tackle and turns no gain into about a 3 or 4 yard pickup. Stopped by Jason Ferguson.
You know, we know that Tim Brown can catch 1,000 passes tonight, and he'll be only the 3rd player in the history of the game to do it. But, you know, in talking to Rich Gannon, he said that's not going to be one of the things that he's going to be thinking about. He said, and he sure as heck isn't going to manufacture it for him.
Well, Tim's going to get it, and Gannon and Tim would both love to see it happen on a Monday night, but if it doesn't, there's always next week. When they're at San Diego, 2nd down and 6, and the catch is made out in the flat by Garner. And Garner, with a good stiff arm on Cowart, flag goes down. For the moment, has the 1st down at the 36-yard line.
You know, and when the Raiders don't have Charlie Garner in there, they don't have a lot of speed. But when they do have Charlie Garner, and they put in Jerry Porter as the 3rd wide receiver, that adds that 3rd dimension, or that extra dimension of speed to him.
And this one is against the Jets.
Grabbing and pulling on the face mask. 56 defense. That's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. 1st down.
Sam Cowart. The Jets with only 1 penalty last week in the whole game against Buffalo.
There's Sam Cowart there. You see he grabs it, then he holds on to it and tries to bring him down with it. Now, if he would have just grabbed it and got off, it would have been a 5-yard penalty.
Again, without a huddle from the 21-yard line. Gannon under pressure. Steps away and then goes down to the 29-yard line, pursued by Sean Ellis.
And that's a play that they needed. You know, when Herm Edwards was talking yesterday about how, that first onslaught of emotion. You come here and there's crowds into it. The Raiders get the ball. They have all this. He said we have to be able to handle that and then get through it and then get on to our football. That play there started them handling it.
Ellis's first full sack of the season. He now has 1.5 total. And this is Charlie Garner on 2nd and long, picking up 1 or 2. Jet defense last year, Ted Cottrell, and they were very porous. So the Jets' priority in the offseason to go out and bring in a lot of new people, and they've done just that with people like Josh Evans, Sam Garnes coming over from the Giants, Donnie Abraham.
And one of their goals is to get the Raiders in this situation right here. Get them in 3rd and long. They say they're darn near unstoppable if they're in 3rd and 3 or less.
3rd and 15 now. Have to get to the 11 to convert. Gannon over the middle. Caught, and it's Jerry Porter who's very close to a first down.
That's the dimension we were talking about. You know Jerry Rice is there. You know Tim Brown is there. But this Jerry Porter is something special. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. He's the inside receiver here. You see how quickly he gets up the field? Then he just stops, finds that hole between the safety and the linebacker. Rich Gannon will always find the guy if the guy finds the hole.
Needed 15, got 15 and a half, and it's 1st and 10 at the 10 and a half. 6 minutes into the game. This is the Raiders' first possession. Garner. And he gets ridden down by Jason Ferguson, but not until he reaches the 5-yard line.
Yeah, you look at Charlie Garner and you think, he's a little guy, and I remember him at Philadelphia, and I always thought the same thing, that he'll be a pass receiver and you'll run him outside, but he is an excellent inside runner. He has those little moves. He makes those moves, puts his shoulders down, and he has a lot of power for his side.
He could have 1,000 season, 1,000 rushing, 1,000 receiving, and only Roger Craig and Marshall Faulk have ever done that. 2nd down 4 from the 5. Gannon pump faking twice. Look at that protection. Great job by the secondary. Tremendous job for Gannon to have that much time.
Yeah, and this is just like Denver. Remember the Denver Broncos and Rich Gannon and that night? It was all about this group here, this offensive line. Look at the job that they do there. Everyone is still on the line. I mean, Gannon, he has lanes to throw in. He just can't find anyone open. There's Tim Brown. You see there's nothing back there. There's nothing here. Here's Jerry Porter. You can see that the Jets got back in their zones, and then they clamped on the Raiders once they got in their zones.
3rd down and 4 now from the 5-yard line. Gannon, and has to throw that one out of the back of the end zone, and so they'll settle for a Janikowski field goal attempt.
I'm impressed with what this Jets defense is doing coverage. They call it Velcro, or you play a zone, but when someone comes in that zone, then you come up and clamp on them. And they've done an excellent job of it these last 2 plays. Watch number 42, Sam Garnes here. You see the way he plays, and then he sees it's a zone, and he just gets right on Tim Brown.
23-yard field goal attempt for Janikowski. And so the Raiders move 62 yards on their opening drive, but it bogs down. And with 8:07 to go in the period, they settle for 3. 3-0 Oakland. ABC's Monday Night Football being brought to you by Budweiser, brewed fresh in America. The New York Stock Exchange, the world puts its stock in us. Dell, flexible enterprise solutions that are easy to buy, easy to own, easy as Dell. And Ford, with 150 million vehicles sold, Ford is America's #1 choice. Aerial coverage provided by Southwest Airlines. As we look at the Coliseum, opened in the mid-60s, home of the A's, since the A's moved west from Kansas City. Pick off by Janikowski, taken by Chad Morton at the 4. And Morton with good coverage, and that's Zach Crockett, who's also their short yardage guy. They give him the ball when they get down inside the 2-yard line. Also playing on special teams, good open field tackle. Herm Edwards, longtime NFL defensive back, and then an assistant coach, most recently under Tony Dungy in Tampa. Got the job last year, guided the Jets to the playoffs last season, and then made the quarterback switch in October with Testaverde down and Chad Pennington up. And Pennington has been great. 1st and 10 here. Secondary does his job. Picks up 3. Testaverde got hurt, John, in the game at Jacksonville, a route. And then the next day, the decision was made by Herm and the coaching staff to cast their lot with Chad Pennington.
Yeah, in fact, Herm Edwards was saying that, driving home in his car that night, he started thinking about it and thinking there comes a point where you just have to make a change. And I know I've been through that, and it gets there, and you have to do something, not only for your quarterback or your offense, but for your entire team, and he got to that point.
2nd and 7, and this is Martin taking it up to the 30. When you go back to the 2000 draft, Pennington was one of the Jets' 4 first-round draft choices. He was picked 18th overall, but that was the end of the Bill Parcells regime with Al Groh coming in, and there are his numbers through his 7 games as a starter. And then Herman Edwards came in, and some people thought, well, you know what? Herman's going to think he's Groh's guy. He's Parcells' guy. He's not Herman's guy. But Herman said, I like this kid from the start.
Yeah, and Testaverde was his guy. And Testaverde was a veteran quarterback. Chad Pennington was the backup who was going to be the heir apparent.
To the 33-yard line goes Curtis Martin, who started the season spraining his ankle severely enough in the opener against Buffalo that he didn't play anywhere near as well as he normally does until just recently.
Yeah, and I think that's been one of the things that has helped Chad Pennington too, that you get a great back like Curtis Martin starting to get healthy now. They say that he's not all the way back, but he's 90%, and for a guy like Martin, that's pretty good.
Coming off 2 back-to-back 100-yard games. Little flip comes out here to Lamont Jordan. And Jordan takes it up to the 39-yard line, a little shy of the first down, tackled by the outside backer, Eric Barton.
The thing that impressed me yesterday, just looking at Chad Pennington, is how long his fingers were. And I remember Joe Montana had that same thing. Now, a lot of times Paul Hackett, the offensive coordinator, talks about Chad Pennington, and he talks about him being in a huddle, like right here. That he's a lot like Joe Montana. He just doesn't stand and call plays. See how he kind of gets down on one knee and he starts looking at guys and calling plays? That way, he reminds him of Joe Montana. The length of his fingers remind me of Joe Montana.
And he headbutts his teammates when they get introduced before the game. And this is Lamont Jordan right up the middle and appears to be a little shy of the first down. Sam Adams thinks he is.
And I'll tell you, if you're going to run right up the middle, you better get some movement on number 95, Sam Adams. And when Sam Adams was with the Baltimore Ravens, that's what he does well. So does Pro. These 2 guys right here are what they call run stuffers. And they're just big old guys that just plug up those holes, and you better get some movement. When they get on that side of the line of scrimmage, it's tough to pick up short yardage plays. Big old Sam got in the Jets backfield, and that's why they still have that much to go.
Yep, 4th down. About a half a yard.
They have to punt. I mean, this is one that you say, geez, I know we can pick up that much, but here in this situation with this score and time and everything, there's really no decision. You wanted to get the first down, and you're upset that you didn't get the first down, but that being upset can't make you go for it.
Right. And the risk-reward ratio doesn't make it worthwhile. You're down 10-0 on the road.
Well, sometimes, stubborn does bring stupid.
Yes, it does. Matt Turk. High floating kick. Fair catch call for made by Charles Woodson at the 19-yard line. And so that's where the Raiders will begin their next drive. With 4:58 left in the opening quarter in Oakland. Raiders 3, Jets nothing. Tim Brown, 3rd in the history of the league in receptions, third in yardage as well. The only two guys with more catches would be naturally the man who lines up across the field from him, Jerry Rice. There was his 1,000th career reception against the Saints in '96. And then Chris Carter, as a Viking in 2000 against the Lions, went into four figures. Speaking of Chris, he will suit up next week. He didn't play yesterday for Miami. He will suit. He won't start, but we'll see him next Monday night in Miami against Chicago. Flag.
You see Lincoln Kennedy, the right tackle there. He started to make a blocking move.
Number 72 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
You know what he had to do? He had to hook his guy, so he was trying to get to the outside of him, and that's a tough thing, and he just gets a little jump. Watch him here. So you got a guy out here, and he has to get around him. And see what he tried to do? You have to get your head outside his outside leg, but you have to wait till the ball snaps.
That's finishing your false start.
Showing you his intention all the way.
First and 15 from the 13-yard line. Gannon, sidearm shot to roll into Williams. He's like a pitcher in baseball with it. He throws sidearm about, maybe a third or a quarter of the time with great effectiveness.
Last week against Arizona, he threw a great sidearm shot for a touchdown, and that's one thing you have to be able to do with these, these zone dogs and these rushes and blitzes and everything these defenses are doing. A quarterback just can't always throw that picture-perfect pass. He has to be able to throw that ball out from all angles.
Empty backfield, 2nd and 10. Got a glimpse of Bill Callahan, the Raiders' first-year coach, as Gannon throws over the middle. The great Jerry Rice makes the catch, and Rice is down at the 26-yard line, setting up a third and about 2.5.
Here's one of the good matchups here. Barry Sims on John Abraham. Barry Sims is here. John Abraham is number 94. Tries to take an inside move. Sims has great feet, and he's a guy that can handle the power rusher and also handle the speed or quick rusher.
Third and a deuce from the 26. Gannon throws, caught, first down, and that's Doug Jolly, and they're going more and more to Doug Jolly, who's a rookie for Brigham Young, 16-yard game, and seeing more action now, and Roland Williams is seeing less at tight end.
Yeah, we were talking about Sims here and how he handles the power. Watch how he handles the speed. I mean, he has good footwork. He just gets John Abraham up the field. He wants to go that way, run him right beyond the quarterback. He's one of the better tackles in all of football. Barry Sims is, and maybe underrated.
Gannon, 6 of his first 8 for 65 yards. First down from the 42. It's Rice on an end around. Jerry turning it back and picks up a yard up to the 43-yard line with 3 minutes to play in the opening period.
Isn't Jerry Rice something that, the guy that 40 years old and I watch him practice, and you're always looking, okay, there's going to be something here that he's going to start to slow down. Maybe he doesn't bend his knees, doesn't have the quickness, doesn't get his head turned around, all those things. And I swear, you see nothing.
And we said it in Denver. I mean, he's 40. Looks like he's 30, and you've got a false start here on Oakland.
False start, 88 offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
And the fascinating thing to me about Jerry Rice, as you look at some of his numbers, most combined yardage over 22,000, is John, the guy's 40 years old, and nobody is talking about retirement right now. It's almost as if it's a given. He's going to be back next year, maybe the year after.
Well, you know why? Because he gets better and stronger as the season goes on. I mean, you'd think an older guy would wear down. In fact, Tim Brown was saying the other day that he just smells playoffs when it gets to be this time of year.
2nd and 14. Gannon underneath to Garner, and he starts to slip as he tries to make his cut. He's covered up by Marvin Jones, the middle linebacker.
I remember, talking about all the years of coaching here and being on that sideline and being on this field. And they always used to say that we would wet the field down. That we had guys out there at night with hoses and wet it down. And we never did. But if you're going to blame you for something, we'd take credit for it.
Well, George Hill, our statistician and also our staff geologist, confirmed today, 22 feet below sea level.
That was the point. And, you know, they thought we watered the field, but this field is below sea level.
3rd and 11, and the catch is made in jet territory by Jerry Porter, going more and more to Jerry Porter, the third-year receiver out of West Virginia, first down on a 17-yard pickup.
And the thing that Jerry Porter can get open on these medium range plays because they have to respect his speed deep. You see, he just gets a little push. He gets Aaron Beasley to think that he's going to go deep, and then he can come back in on that hook.
1st and 10 now at the 42-yard line. Jets uncharacteristically giving up a couple of 3rd and longs. They've given up only 2 all season. And now 2 here on 3rd and 11 and 3rd and 15 already in the first period.
Ball starts. 79 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Mo Collins.
You can only stay there so long. I mean, this is the thing that has haunted the Raiders for a long time, these penalties. And I think Mo Collins was down there in that stance, and Rich Ganner's up there. He's making an audible here. He's making an audible there, and audible there. And you can only stand. Once you're a big old guy and you get down there in that stance, you can only stay down in that stance so long. Mo Collins said, I've had enough.
That's 3 false starts for the Raiders on this drive. Gannon stepping up. And that's incomplete. Well, he has just a great feel in that pocket. It begins to collapse around him. He steps up and guns it, but Abraham that time with good coverage on Jerry Rice.
And again, because he can step up, because he has good pass protection. And, you know, part of being a quarterback, he not only has to find the guy that's open and read the defense, but then he has to find that lane between his offensive linemen to throw the ball in. And this offensive line makes very good lanes for Rich Gannon to throw.
2nd and 15 in the waning seconds of the opening quarter. Keep it on the ground. Garner with a big burst. There's a flag down, and he gets tackled with a helmet coming off as well by Damian Robinson. Flag down back at the 43. And this one appears to be coming back.
He kind of reminded me of Michael Vick there, where you can have speed and make moves upon moves. And again, this is just the Raiders, isn't it? I mean, you think they have things going, they have things going. This is what, their 4th or 5th penalty?
10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
That's Frank Middleton. So everybody getting into the act along the offensive front.
I think Middleton's the left guard. I like Frank Middleton. He's kind of a journeyman player, but he's a real tough journeyman player.
End of the quarter, it'll be 2nd and 21 when the second quarter begins. And at the end of 1, it's Oakland 3 and the New York Jets nothing. Monday Night Football returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Take it to the top with dinner and a movie for Dégagé.
Aerial coverage provided by Southwest Airlines from the Coliseum in Oakland, California. The end of the 13th week of the National Football League season. An ode to John, who was here for 10 seasons. 10 great years. 69 through 78. 2nd down, 21 now. Screen. Garner cuts it back inside the 40, and Garner takes it down to the 39-yard line, setting up a 3rd and 7. Robinson and Beasley converge on the tackle.
You know, a lot of parts go into a screen. I mean, Charlie Garner has to wait and hold it a little. Rich Gannon has to get him the ball. Barry Sims has to get this guy's hands down. As you bring him up the field, just before the ball is thrown on the screen, you have to cut him to get his hands down. See right there? He gets his hands down so you can throw over him. Then, of course, you have the screen developed out in front itself.
3rd and 7 now. Only a 3-man rush. Gannon throws, and that's a nice play. Coming in is Aaron Beasley to break it up. Garner, the intended receiver, they'll punt.
Aaron Beasley was saying he knows that the Raiders have great receivers, and Jerry Rice is one of the all-time greats, and Tim Brown. He said, I respect him, but I don't fear him. Of course, that one he was out there on Charlie Garner, but I think that's part of the deal. You know, sometimes you hear about these guys and read about them, and then you do tend to fear them a little.
Leckler. Punt fielded at the 5, and then Santana Moss, who's been great in running back punts, does something that you don't normally see somebody do. Field a punt inside the 10. Might have had something going, but he slipped 22 feet below sea level. 3-0. Great college football triple-header Saturday. Can Miami finish the regular season unbeaten? They meet Virginia Tech, Washington State, UCLA in a good one. And then in prime time, the Big 12 championship, Oklahoma, Colorado. 3 good games, morning, noon, and night here on ABC. From the 10, Chad Pennington hands the ball off to the up back. That's Richie Anderson, picking up about 3.
You know, this is one thing. Every time I've watched the Jets in their winning streak, it seemed like they were starting at midfield. And if you look at, you know, during that 4-game winning streak, their average starting point was the 38-yard line. And I don't know that in that winning streak that they're used to being in this field position.
And a lot of that is the great special teams work turned in by the entire unit, but the run back guys, Chad Morton and Santana Moss. 2nd down and 7 now from the 13-yard line with Crabette going in motion and shadowed by Charles Woodson. And Pennington comes back the other way for Coles, who's become his favorite receiver, covered by Torrey James and incomplete.
You know, and that's the thing. If you have one side Charles Woodson, Torrey James, the other side, if you're going to try and take a shot, you want to take it on Torrey James. And that's exactly what they do here to Lavernius Coles. You see, he gets pretty good position. He had a step or two on him, but Torrey James makes a good play in the ball. Maybe the ball was a little underthrown. Well, maybe it was a lot underthrown.
Coles, their leading receiver, he's caught 57, but he's been blank so far tonight. Early in the 2nd quarter on 3rd down and 7, Pennington guns it into traffic, and it is dropped. It is incomplete. Lavernius Coles turns around, says, he got my face mask, no flag. 4th down.
Good defense here by the Raiders, and now they're going to get good field position. Look at this one here. He did zip that ball in there. And you see Rod Woodson was right on top of it. You talk about Jerry Rice not getting old. Rod Woodson is another guy that doesn't seem to get old on game day.
Turk's punt of beauty fielded to the 34-yard line by Charles Woodson. And Woodson is taken down at about the 34. 12:56 to the half in Oakland. 3-0 Raiders.
All new Thursday, 2 teams lead a band of young heroes to save their lost paradise. The all-new series Dinotopia, 8/7 Central ABC Thursday.
Tomorrow, back where it all began, you'll see the very first episodes of 8 Simple Rules. And according to Jim, that's tomorrow night, Tuesday night, right here on ABC. Oakland.
It's not a bad side of the bay.
Neither side of the bay is a bad side of the bay.
Either side, but this one's kind of my side.
From the 34-yard line, Charlie Garner stopped for no gain.
That inside defense of the Jets was pretty tough there. I mean, that's the thing. If you don't run some kind of delay or something, and you don't get movement, and they get penetration right here, you're not going to make any yardage. You see the penetration right there? There's no place to go on play side, nor was there any place to cut back.
2nd down and 10. Gannon's 14th pass of the night, wide open over the middle. Jerry Rice, and he takes it out to the 49-yard line. He's tackled there by Damian Robinson, a 14-yard gain for the great one.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Herm Edwards didn't want. He knew that, that the Raiders are going to work their zone. Here's Jerry Rice. He's the inside guy, and you see the zone here. He just sees one guy go out, one guy go in, and there's a big hole or gap there, and he just stopped. and he knows that when he stops and he finds a lane and he shows Rich Gannon his 8 and 0, he's going to get the ball.
Raiders have outgained the Jets by almost a 5-to-1 ratio, yet lead only 3-0 as Gannon slings it over the middle, and that is dropped. It's incomplete. Jerry Rice can't hold on.
I'll tell you one thing, the Jet defense isn't letting this Raider offense get in a rhythm. Remember the Denver game, and Rich Gannon just had his way with that defense. He got in a rhythm. The Bronco defense could never get him out of that rhythm. You get the feeling here that the Jet defense, through their zone coverage and clamping on, has really kept the Raiders and Rich Gannon out of a rhythm.
Absolutely, and I mean everybody on the Jet coaching staff looked very carefully at that Denver game, and they knew they couldn't let that happen again. Gannon sitting in a rocking chair and hitting everything. Here's Tyrone Wheatley in the game. Nice little hurdle move on his first carry of the night. And he takes it to the 49-yard line, 3rd and long upcoming. And Herman Edwards had this to say about these situations earlier this week.
Get them in third long situations. 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 7s. They don't like that. They're good 3rd and 3s. Get them in 3rd and longs. And get them out of their rhythm. But you just can't sit in them zones and just sit there and go, well, you got to go attack them. That's what I said. You got to match him up like his man. That's right.
Well, here they are in a 3rd down and 7.
So far, and I was just going to say, so far in this game, the Raiders have been pretty successful on 3rd and long.
They have been. The Jets have to take a timeout here prior to a 3rd and 7. Monday night in Oakland, Al Michaels, John Madden, and Melissa Stark. 3-0 Oakland. After a Jet timeout, a defensive timeout, Rich Gannon comes to the line of scrimmage, 3rd down and 7, with the ball just across the 50-yard line. Gannon stepping up, throws. Brown makes the catch. 1st down on a 3rd and 7. So they keep getting him into 3rd and long, and the Raiders keep converting that one 20 yards.
Yeah, and it all starts with pass protection. We talked about the protection, and we talk about the lanes, and watch the protection that they give Rich Gannon on this play. And not only the protection, but then a lane to throw it in. See, he can step up and then put everything on that ball. And of course, here's Tim Brown. Again, he's fine. He just that wasn't a big hole in the zone. Rich Gannon just put it on him right by the defender's shoulder.
Career catch number 998, second of the night for TB. 1st down, 29-yard line. Garner. The Raiders have now outgained the Jets 154-28. They've had the ball 13.5 minutes to 6.5, and yet still lead just 3-0.
Yeah, looks like the Jets offense hasn't come out of the locker room yet. And of course, that last time they had poor field position, and as I said earlier, Chad Pennington really hasn't been in some of these situations. This is it's a tough environment for him, and this Jet offense is a lot better, like all offenses are when they have better field position.
2nd down and 8. Brown, the man in motion. And Gannon goes down. Gannon trying to get away, and Jason Ferguson will get credit for that sack, the 2nd of the night for the New York Jets.
You know, and again, I think if you give credit, I mean, Ferguson gets a sack, but again, the protection was pretty good. But the Jet defense clamped on, and there was no place for him to throw, and he kind of goes through his progression of 1, 2, 3, and by that time Ferguson was on him.
3rd and 19. Now the Raiders have converted a 3rd and 15, a 3rd and 11, and a 3rd and 7. They have to get to the 19-yard line on 3rd down with 9 minutes to go in the half. And Gannon stumbles, falls down, gets up to avoid the sack. He'll pack it in, but he has to step out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Very frustrated, of course. And now Janikowski will come in to attempt about a 49-yard field goal.
And that's what that play did. I mean, It got him out of field goal range. If you look right here, when he falls down there, he's out of field goal range. Now he scrambles and makes a move. He's not going to get a first down, but he gets him to that 30-yard line, and that puts it, well, it's a 48-yard field goal.
Tripped over Garner.
Yeah. 40. Know the things that are going to be out there.
48-yard field goal attempt for Janikowski, their #1 draft choice in 2000. Leckler to hold. And Janikowski, with as strong a leg as any in the league, is right down the middle. 3 more for the Raiders. 6-0 Oakland.
Are you ready for some football?
Next week in Miami, Jay Fiedler will get the start. Dolphins against the Chicago Bears on Monday night. The Sunday action this week comes from Green Bay. Vikings, Packers from Lambeau, ESPN. Janikowski kicking off. Chad Morton from the 10. Up past the 30. And Chad Morton into Raider territory, down the sideline, and not forced out of bounds until he gets to the 34 of Oakland.
And one thing the Raiders didn't want to do is kick the ball straight down the middle to Chad Morton. That's the first time they did. The first 2 kicks, they kicked it between the numbers and the sideline and pinned him. This time they got it right down the middle, and they have a wedge left. They get the good wedge block there. Chad Morton only needs a couple of blocks. He gets through a missed tackle there. This guy is as dangerous a kickoff returner as there is in football.
58-yard return. Morton came into the game averaging 26.5 yards per kickoff return. That's great. And it's Coles picking a fine time to make his first catch of the night. Ridden out of bounds in midair by Torrey James at the 18-yard gain.
Lavernius Coles, again, we were talking about the Jets and their field position. They finally get it. Here's Lavernius Coles here. He's the inside receiver. He goes to he runs a sideline and up. Now, what the ruling here is that he was in the air. Now, if he's in the air and he's pushed out of bounds, it's where he's pushed out of bounds. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. 1,000% correct. Ball at the 16-yard line. Martin, and for the first time in quite a while now, he's thrown for a loss. He was losing yardage on a lot of his carries when he had the sprained ankle after opening day, but now that he's back to almost normal, he hadn't lost yardage in more than 50 carries.
Did you notice on that kickoff return of Chad Morton? Watch the wedge here. These are the wedge guys. Now watch how they all hold hands. You see, they hold hands, and then Morton kind of gets right in behind him, gets that block there, and breaks off it. And after that, he goes over and congratulates his blocker or his wedge.
2nd and 13 after the 3-yard loss. Pennington. Chase throws. Lavernius Coles makes the catch. Minimal gain, tackled by Napoleon Harris, the rookie middle linebacker from Northwestern.
You need your offensive lineman to do is block for you, and then when you get a divot in your head, to pull the divot out of your head. Pennington is a rhythm passer. I mean, he's not a mobile guy. And, you know, talking about his fingers and how long his fingers are, he also has big feet. He wears size 15 shoes. Now, there's never in the history of football been a scrambler or a guy that could run that had a size 15 shoe.
I never thought of it in those terms.
I'll guarantee that. That's a record. If you can wear a size 15 shoe and run fast, they'd put you in the Smithsonian.
Jets on the move. But take a timeout here. They're second. An all-new Dynatopia comes your way Thursday with Dynatopia, the series. 2 brothers leading a band of young heroes to save a lost paradise. Dynatopia, Thursday night, right here on ABC.
Here's where I think the Jets have to take a shot. I mean, you're 3rd and long. You already have field goal position. Now you have to take a shot at the end zone.
3rd and 10. And they do, and open, and unable to make the grab is was Santana Moss. He'd gotten free down the sideline, couldn't haul it in.
They were talking about Lavertius Coles, and he's fast. But they say that Santana Moss is really fast. And if you're going to take the shot, he has a step right there. Perfect timing, just a little high. I mean, he threw it exactly on time and exactly when he had to, and it was just a little high. But that was a heck of a pattern. I mean, they got the play, they got the hole, they got what they needed, and just didn't get the ball to him.
John Hall, 34 yards. Hall last year, that 53-yarder to put the Jets in the playoffs, and it's blocked. It's blocked by Rod Woodson, and it spins like a top at the 10. And the Jets squander the great run back by Morton.
Yeah, Rod Woodson does so many things for this team, and he's done so many things for over his career. And you just see him come right in here. He jumps, he stretches out, and blocks that one. He was the second guy in. He's going to break it right here. In fact, he did a little jump as he broke through, and that's just a feeling. You'll being able to see where the ball is, go to the point where it's going to be kicked.
And that's the fourth field goal attempt by John Hall this year that's been blocked. That is tantamount to missing the field goal conventionally, because what happens is the Raiders come out and get the ball from the spot at which it was kicked. So it's taken at the 25-yard line by Oakland, despite the fact it died on the 10. And Gannon steps up over the middle, throws, caught, first down. Garner, gain of 13, out to the 38. Woodson loves Monday night. As a Steeler, he was 10-1. His 1 year with the 49ers, 3-0. With the Ravens, he was 2-0. And then it not only was 1-0 with the Raiders this year, but of course he had the huge play, the big play of that game when it was 7-0, intercepting a greasy pass and running it back for a touchdown.
And he just has the big play right here. You know, he was the inside guy, and the wing has to block him. You never let the inside guy get in.
Gannon now, after a first down completion, has another, and Brown is at 9-9-9 as he takes it to the Jets' 43-yard line, tackled by Garnes and Jones.
And right now we could be talking about Brown getting that 1,000 before halftime, huh? We talked about, is he going to get it in the game? Is he going to get it now? Is he going to get it on this play?
3 grabs tonight for 53 yards to become the third man in history with Rice and Chris Carter to catch 1,000. Gannon stepping away, throwing, and that is incomplete. Off the hands of Charlie Garner.
Yeah, but that's the thing that's so impressive about this offense is you know Tim Brown and he's going to catch 1,000 balls on his next pass, and then Jerry Rice has already done it. Jerry Rice, I feel maybe the best football player that's ever played in the history of the NFL, and then you have a young one in Jerry Porter, young wide receivers coming along. Charlie Garner, speed in the backfield. They can hit you from a heck of a lot of places.
Tim Brown won the Heisman at Notre Dame in '87. Entire career with the Raiders. Gannon throws a flutter ball, and that's incomplete, intended for Jerry Rice.
You know, there's two things you can do to a passing game. One is put a lot of heat on the quarterback, or two is you can cover with a whole bunch of guys and clamp on. The Jets have done a heck of a job this first half in coverage.
Ted Cottrell, the defensive coordinator. Ironically, Cottrell was interviewed for the head coaching job when it was open with the Jets. As you can see, the Jets giving up 2 out of 3 tonight on 3rd and long. And then Cottrell didn't get the job. Edwards did, and Edwards hired him as the defensive coordinator. 3rd down and 10 now. Gannon, under pressure from behind, gets spun down and taken down by Sean Ellis at the 40-yard line. Not a sack because he'd gotten past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and again, it was just very good coverage by this Jet defense. They have a 3-man line, but they bring a linebacker, so they have a 4th coming. You see what they're doing? They're playing that zone. It's a 3-deep zone, and they're clamping on. When someone comes close, don't just let them have that hole. Clamp on to them as they come into those zones.
Leckler now to punt. And they let it bounce inside the 5. It's volleyball out of bounds. Goes into the end zone for the touchback. So the Raiders have gained 4 times as much yardage, run twice as many plays, but it's still just Oakland 6 and the Jets nothing. College triple header Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern, Virginia Tech and unbeaten Miami. Washington State and the UCLA Bruins in the Rose Bowl in the middle of the afternoon, and then in prime time, Oklahoma, Colorado, Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. Jets have 2 first downs late in the first half, 1 in each quarter from the 20-yard line. Pennington setting up, throws, and catches Wayne Corbett in stride for a 35-yard gain before he's run out of bounds by Terrence Shaw.
You know, and the key there, I think, was in stride, so that Wayne Corbett, as he was coming across, just caught that ball on the run and just kept going. That's one of the things that a quarterback has to do, is see Corbett right here is coming across, and now he's just hit right on the run, so he doesn't have to stop and wait for the ball. The ball is put on him right in front of him, and he just takes those 2 or 3 steps and just keeps going.
Spot the ball at the 43-yard line. Wayne Corbett out of stride. 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. Fake to Martin. Catch made inside the 30 by Lavernius Coles. And let's check in with Melissa.
Al, you mentioned earlier that Al Groh was the head coach of the Jets when they drafted Pennington in 2000. Well, Groh told me that there were 3 things that sold him on Pennington. Number 1, he was naturally very accurate. And Groh said that's the most important thing a quarterback can be. Number 2, that he had a resume of success. That everywhere he'd been, he was a winner. That means his teammates responded to him. And number 3, he was extremely bright. In his mind, he can see the play. And certainly it didn't hurt that one of Groh's best friends was Marshall head coach Bob Pruitt. He had a wealth of information on Pennington.
Pennington was a Rhodes Scholar finalist. From the 29-yard line, Pennington throws, and that's incomplete, but a flag is thrown by the back judge as Charles Woodson went over the back of Wayne Corbett.
Right, and he went over the back of Wayne Corbett before the ball got there. That's going to be against Charles Woodson.
Pass interference, 24 defense. That's a first down.
Those Woodson, they don't throw a lot on Charles Woodson. You see what happens here? He starts, here's Corbett, and he's going to run a skinny post right there to the inside. The ball is there. He goes to get the ball. And you see what Charles Woodson did? He just grabbed his shoulder with his right hand. Charles Woodson has enough quickness and speed. He didn't have to do that, I don't think.
First predominantly defensive player to win the Heisman. Woodson out of Michigan. 1st and 10 now from the 11-yard line. To the ground to Martin, who knifes his way inside to the 6-yard line. Pennington grew up son of a coach in the Knoxville area and then matriculated at Marshall. And while he was at Marshall, he spent 2 seasons on the squad with Randy Moss, though Chad was redshirted one of those. But he and Moss formed obviously a pretty potent pass-catch combination one season.
I remember one time I was up at Minnesota and I was talking about the Viking quarterbacks and Randall Cunningham and so on and who's the best and all that. And I asked Randy Moss who's the best quarterback he ever had. He said Chad Pennington was the best quarterback he ever played with.
2nd and 5, play fake, catch made, and getting into the end zone is Gerald Soule. Backup fullback, special teams guy. First play of the night that he's involved with offensively. 6 yards for the touchdown, and the Jets are just an extra point away from taking the lead.
You know, and that's what Pennington does so well is this bootleg. We say that he's not a scrambler. You see, he fakes to the left, comes out here to the right, and Soule just goes right underneath everything. But he sells that fake there and then bootlegs out here. Soule's coming right out in front of him, and he just hits him.
Soule's first NFL touchdown. They go 80 yards in 4 plays. John Hall's conversion gives the Jets the lead with 1:58. So this is the equivalent of the 2-minute warning in Oakland. The Jets trying to make it 5 straight, up 7-6. The Toyota halftime show coming up tonight, 7 days to Monday night, featuring Jets coach Herm Edwards.
5 weeks, 16 practices. That's what you got. You got a chance to be special, man. You got a chance to be special.
Well, Herman Edwards in his second season. Good piece tonight with an all-access pass. Take a look at Herm in the week leading up to this game, including what happened at the Edwards household on Thanksgiving. He can cook.
I don't know if he can cook or not. He was trying to carve the turkey, and he didn't look like a very good carver.
I forgot who I'm talking to. Here's Marcus Knight. And he runs it back up to the 24-yard line. And Monday Night Football from Oakland being brought to you by Madden NFL 2003 from EA Sports. It's in the game. Cadillac, bold vehicles defying convention. Nike. And Michelob Light, the beer with a smooth taste and a nice finish. How was your first Thanksgiving at home in 21 years?
It was,
turducken.
Yeah,
right?
it was turkey, turducken, crazy desserts, everything all over the place. It was all it had written up to be, or built up to be, written about it. Whatever the heck it was all it was supposed to be.
Cranked up. There's Garner. And Garner picks up a first down, and a flag comes in at the end of the play.
You know, this happens so often where you have all the stats. You're moving the ball up and down the field. You have everything going, but you don't get any points out of it. And then you let that other team sit in there. The Jets didn't look like they could get anything going. Boom, they get one drive and they're ahead 7-6.
And then you get a nice gain, and it's negated by a holding call.
80 offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the fall. Still a first down.
It's Jerry Rice. Jets haven't given up a point this season on any drive that the opponents have started in the last 2 minutes of either half, and that's the situation we have at hand right here. So Callahan now watching his team start again on a 1st and 10. Spot foul from the 25-yard line. Catch is made over the middle. Tight end makes the catch there, Doug Jolly. They have all 3 timeouts.
We're talking about the job that the coverage of the Jets has been, but they've also tackled well. That's a big thing. They haven't given the Raiders a lot of run after the catch.
Put a big premium on that, did the Jets this week, especially with guys like Brown and Rice and Porter. And that's off the fingertips of Garner and incomplete. 3rd down.
And the thing we were talking about earlier is the rhythm, and Rich Gannon and this offense is a rhythm offense, and you can throw the rhythm off on 2 ends. You can either throw it off on his end where you make him throw when he doesn't want to throw, or you can throw it off on the coverage end where when he wants to throw, there's no one to throw to. That's what the Jets have been doing.
They've been doing a good job. Gannon 15 out of 23. 182 yards. Pretty good numbers, but the way Rich has been playing, they've been keeping him fairly well in check. 3rd down and 4. Gannon under pressure again here. There's a flag thrown by the umpire. Intended for Jerry Rice. When the umpire throws the flag. 99.36948% of the time. Just making that up, but you know what it is.
No, it's in the area of holding. And there's a flag on the field.
Holding. 73 offense. 10-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Frank Middleton.
That's a second penalty on Frank Middleton. In fact, these offensive linemen have had their problems. Here you see Frank Middleton is right there. And you see the hold with his left arm right there and the flag right there. Well, in fact, that camera was on the umpire's head, and he's the guy that made the call and threw the flag.
Right there. That's 7 penalties with 63 yards. A little shovel pass, and that was almost dropped. Had it been dropped, though, it would have been an incomplete pass since it was forward. Sean Ellis takes care of Garner, and the clock ticks down under a minute.
Sean Ellis is having a pretty good first half. I mean, he's played the run tough in there, and he's put a little pressure on Gannon.
Now the Jets will take a timeout when they get the ball back.
Dublin, Ohio, a town divided between Wendy's Bacon Swiss Cheeseburger and Wendy's Chicken Bacon Swiss.
People, there's common ground here. Bert and Cindy, don't you both love Swiss? Yes. Of course you do. And who here doesn't enjoy hickory smoked bacon? Some like it on a whole breast filet and some on a cheeseburger. But are we gonna let that tear us apart?
Yeah. Choose Wendy's Bacon Swiss Cheeseburger or Chicken Bacon Swiss. It's better here.
Behind the scenes 7 days to Monday night, we'll look at Herman Edwards' week as he and his staff prepared for tonight's game. The updated BCS standings coming your way. And a look at Michael Vick. The amazing Michael Vick is what the graphic read. I'll buy that. Shane Leckler gets the punt away, and it's a short bouncing ball. Santana Moss fields it at the 43. Moss, leading the league in punt return average, takes it inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
You know, it's funny what a great punt returner will do to a punter. You know, I think Leckler is so worried about Santana Moss, so worried about directional kicking, so worried about keeping the ball away from him, he darn near shanks it. And this guy has great speed, and he can make moves. And when he gets the ball anytime in open space, you know, he's a threat to go all the way. And he's the guy that has given the Jets great field position.
Well, the league average for a punt return is 9.3 yards. Coming into the game, Moss's average, 18.5 yards. Twice the league average.
And you don't think that gets into ahead of a punter?
Sure. 29-yard run back there. Jets at the 28. They do not have a timeout. Pennington softly underneath. Martin, he gets to the 18-yard line. That'll move the chains. Half a minute.
And that's a big thing because he got the first down. They could get up there and just spike the ball. Pennington looks like he's audibleizing.
No spike from the 17-yard line. Swings it to the outside. Prevent's going to get out of bounds at the 17-yard line with 12 seconds left. But now you're in that area where if you do complete it and you don't get into the end zone and you don't get it out of bounds, it's going to be pretty dicey.
Now here's one play: is you take a shot for the end zone and you throw it to the second pylon, you know, the back pylon, the end line, and either your guy gets it or it's incomplete, and then you try the field goal.
Right. Because you're barely going to have time if you don't.
Here's where you throw it, right there. Back to one of these points, and it can either be a corner or a quick up.
They barely have time for a spike if they complete it inbounds. No timeouts for the Jets. Pennington, he's going to throw it sort of to that spot.
Well, he had a receiver to that spot, and he threw it to another spot. I'm sure what they told Chad Pennington, or he knows, look, if the guy's not open, you can't get it in there, just throw the ball out of bounds. Take one more shot, and then if we don't get it, we'll try the field goal here.
If you're a finalist for a Rhodes Scholarship, they don't have to tell you that, right?
No, he knows that. And like we said, I mean, his dad's a football coach, and he said he got hit in the pocket once when he was 2 years old walking across the field.
Raiders are going to take a timeout. Preparatory to the 36-yard field goal attempt for John Hall, who earlier had one blocked.
And that was Rod Woodson that blocked that last one. You look at John Hall's helmet. I've been watching him over the years, and there's something that doesn't fit about it. I mean, it's up too high in the back or something.
Right.
He doesn't wear his chin strap around his chin. I mean, his chin strap is below his chin. So I'm not sure how he does that, but it's kind of like a baseball cap that you pull down over your eyes or something.
Too high in the back, too low in the front.
And what's the deal with that chin strap?
He's a kicker.
I think that is the answer. Therein lies the answer. Fred Blitnikoff, my old wide receiver, a Hall of Famer, talking to a future Hall of Famer.
36-yard attempt. And this one is good. And there will be a couple of ticks left on the clock, so at least we'll have a kickoff for the final play of the half, barring a penalty. So Brown has caught 3 in this half. That's 999 for Tim, who most likely will reach that 1,000 figure, that milestone mark in the second half tonight. But the Jets, who let the Raiders run up and down the field for the better part of a quarter and a half, will go into the locker room with the lead, 10-6.
Well, the Jets secondary did a great job, and that includes their linebackers, and it was one of those bend but don't break. You know, they never let the Raiders get into that rhythm where they could go boom, boom, boom right down the field. I mean, they'd go boom, boom, then they'd stutter a little, and either, you know, a great defensive play or a penalty. Here's some of the things that the Jets secondary has done. You can see we're talking about throwing off rhythm, and you can throw off rhythm at any end. And they've been very physical with them, but anytime there's a receiver in an area, they're clamping on that receiver. They're not letting them just sit down or run through zone. Herm Edwards and his defensive coordinator, Ted Cottrell, are very happy about what they've done in the first half defensively.
So Hall to kick off.
He's not going to put this ball in the air. This will be one of those line drive squib type of deals that you try and line the ball right down through the wedge. You don't want this first group to hit it.
You want somebody with like a 70 on his back, running it back if you can. But instead, he sends it down to the 19-yard line. This is Marcus Knight. That's by Soul. And that's the way the half will end. So the New York Jets, for the 8th consecutive game, go to the locker room at the half with the lead. New York 10, Oakland 6. Toyota halftime show when we come back after this message from the NFL Network Mark ABC stations.
The Toyota halftime show, brought to you by Toyota. Get the feeling. Here now, Al Michaels.
Back in Oakland at halftime, the New York Jets trying to make it 5 straight wins, leading the Raiders have won 3 straight by a score of 10-6. Our 7 days to Monday night feature, I thought one of the best this year was when we looked at New York Giants coach Jim Fossil. So the equal time provision prevails right here as we take a look at the other New York coach, and a guy who grew up in Seaside, California, not far from here. 7 days to Monday night with Jets coach Herman Edwards.
You come to work and it's dark, and you leave and it's dark. It's about all the same.
I really enjoy getting up this early. I don't know why. I guess it's my father taught me always be early, son.
I didn't think he meant this early, but I guess he did. My schedule, I come in, exercise. I really enjoy it. It's a time to really reflect on some things. When you have a routine like this and you've been doing it for 25 years or so, it becomes just part of what you do to get you going in the morning. Then from there, I turn the film on. The players are not here. They won't watch the film Monday if we win. We call it a victory Monday. It gives the coaches probably another 3 or 4 hours to start on our next opponent.
I tell you what, Ted, I've watched like 4 games, and they attack everyone different.
Here they're running that underneath stuff again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tim Brown, that shake and bake. So they're always going to have somebody going across the field.
Yeah. You got to wall him off now. That could be Tim Brown. He could be run across the field now. My wife runs a women's organization, and they do a lot of community service. And then she knows enough about football where she's pretty dangerous. You know, she'll come in and say, oh, they got a good offense. Can we stop them? Trying to find out a way how to beat the radars.
You need some help?
No, we don't need your expertise right now. Wednesday, we'll come in as a regular day. We'll have a team meeting.
Look at Teddy! Teddy, mine is over. Look at it. That's bad feet, man. That's bad feet.
Having a sense of humor, for me, I think is real important because your players are really watching you to figure out the tone of what's going to happen that day.
Hey, I stayed focused, Herm. I didn't drop the paper. I did not drop the paper.
Who's even worse is, look at the receiver coach. Look at Mose. He's so cold, he can't even move. He's just standing there. He got 10 jackets on, man. He got 10 jackets on.
The question was asked the day before Thanksgiving, could we move practice up 30 minutes? They wanted to get out of here. They had a feeling it was going to be denied, but they had to ask.
Hey, now some teams go until 3 o'clock. Now, I've been places where you practice till 3. We can't let you go home early. Because the problem, the earlier you go, the faster you start eating. That could be an extra 5 pounds for some guys.
Excuse me, there's only one person carving this turkey. There's one sheriff in town, and it's me. We got issues here. We're having trouble with this leg here, hon.
Go ahead, pull out it.
Better watch your fingers.
Cut them off.
And then we'll come back Friday. That'll be a longer day.
He's not dropping back too far either. Everything's fast. This guy, goodness gracious. Gotta get your hands up, get what you can get.
Yeah, throws a real low ball. He throws a sidearm sometimes.
And we got to get our hands up, D-line. A lot of throws in the middle of the football field.
But you just can't sit in them zones and just sit there and go, well, you got to go attack him. That's what I said. You got to match him up like his man. That's right. It'll be fun to go out there and play. It really will be. Yeah, I basically grew up in California. I grew up watching the Raiders, obviously, and we understand what we're walking into. It's not an easy place to play in. And you know you're going to get booed. But I think it's great. I really do. I just think it's part of football.
Well, Herman Edwards and the Jets have come into the black hole, and they have the upper hand at the half. BCS standings, and a look at Michael Vick when we come back to Oakland.
The 2003 Corolla S with greater performance. It just wants to have fun.
It's ABC Tuesday's Love at First Sight night. Cool. The critics have raved.
Are you using this?
My retainer? Yes.
And America loves them.
That wine is so strong. You're both getting better looking.
They're the best new comedies on television. Now, see how it all began.
No.
The very first episodes of John, Jim, Bonnie, and Claude.
God, you're beautiful.
God, you're a lucky man.
Tuesday starts at 8/7 Central on ABC.
Back in Oakland, look now at the Bowl Championship Series standings. Miami 1 away from an unbeaten regular season. Number 1, Ohio State number 2. At the moment, headed for the national championship game in Tempe, the Fiesta Bowl Jan 3. The BCS Selection Show will make it all official 3:30 Eastern Time on Sunday here on ABC. One of the ways to get on Monday Night Football, as you all know, is to have a pretty good year the year before. The Falcons were 7-9 last year, so the league didn't give us Atlanta on a Monday night. Now, of course, it's a different story. But we thought Michael Vick is having such a phenomenal year, he deserves his own segment at halftime on Monday night. What about yesterday? Against the Minnesota Vikings, Michael Vick, 11-28 through the air. This touchdown pass to Brian Finneran, then a 28-yard run by Vick to tie the game 21-all. And then, of course, the play you have all seen, the overtime 46-yard run to give him a quarterback record 173 rushing yards. And Atlanta red hot going in to face Tampa Bay next week in a big game. You know, John, through the years, we've watched a lot of quarterbacks come in, and they keep saying, well, they've changed the template. Randall Cunningham comes in, and then Donovan McNabb a couple of years ago. What about Michael Vick? Where does he fit in right now?
I don't know that there's a template for Michael Vick. I mean, you have to realize, is there anyone out there that's this fast? I mean, Michael Vick is the fastest player in the NFL. And what has to surprise you is they let him play quarterback. You know, usually the fastest guy is a guy that in grammar school and tag, he was never it. And then he went to high school and he'd be a running back, in college a wide receiver or a defensive back. But this guy is so fast and so good that he can make plays with his legs. And you can say, well, you have to contain him, you have to do this and that. But heck, you can't catch him.
Yeah, he's made Dan Reeves about 20 years younger. The great Michael Vick. A look at him at halftime. Tim Brown, a look at him in the second half as he tries to reach the 1,000 mark in career receptions. And the Raiders trying to come from behind. Jets 10, Raiders 6.
In the middle, just a little, if it feels alright. All night till the break of day. You can come from a while, but you can't stay. It's no place for the weak at heart. What's us to say? It don't start till dark. Up in the parks, the clubs, the halls. Turn the cell phones off. We ain't taking no calls.
the Oakland Coliseum as we start the third quarter. Al Michaels, John Madden, Melissa Stark. The New York Jets, 4-game winning streak, trying to make it 5 straight. Oakland, 3-game winning streak, following a 4-game losing streak, which followed a season-opening 4-game winning streak. Down by 4, John Hall to boot it. Marcus Knight to run it back. Second half underway. Short kick. 12-yard line. Knight brings it back up to the 25-yard line. That's where the Gannon-led Raiders will take over. And let's check in with Melissa.
Well, Al, Bill Callahan told us yesterday that his #1 concern coming into this game was the Jets' special teams. And he said, you saw it. It's exactly what I expected. As far as the 7 penalties for 63 yards, he jokingly said, yeah, we were trying to set a record for penalties in a half. And I asked him about the Jets' defense, and he said, they're playing all right. Nothing special. We're hurting ourselves. We're stubbing our own toe.
Pretty well put, in as much as they outgained the Jets 201 to 119 in the half, but those 7 penalties for 63 yards really hurt. Gannon flings it to the outside. Tight end Williams with a little Edwin Moses move right there. First down up to the 41-yard line, a gain of 17 yards. And the numbers through the first half, in a half that was dominated until the last 5 or 6 minutes by the Raiders.
So you can see they had the 165-yard passing, 201 yards total, but you never had felt that their passing game stretched the field. You know, that they never got outside or never got deep. They played right into the Jets' defense hands.
Gannon is 67%. That's almost par for the course for him this season. To the outside. Hits Garner here. Garner is out of bounds at the 46. That's a gain of 5. Run out by Mo Lewis.
Yeah, this is where I think that the Raiders kind of hurt themselves or played into the Jets defense. You look at the pass chart, is here beyond 15 yards. They didn't throw any passes here nor any passes here. And I think that's big because they didn't stretch the field.
Second and 5 now from the 46-yard line. Garner on a draw. First down to the Jet 45-yard line. Aaron Beasley finally stops him.
And one of the things the Raiders have to do is eliminate those penalties, and that's a tough thing. I mean, Bill Callahan says that they're coming close to breaking the record, but you really can't. I mean, a lot of them are aggressive this year. You can't say don't have any penalties. You can say, play smart, and that's what you're trying to get them to do. And what they try and do is when you get an aggressive pass rusher like a John Abraham, that's always the side you run the draw to.
First and 10 against the 4-man front. Good protection. Breaking tackles the rookie tight end Jolly down the middle of the 25-yard line. Finally hauled down by Sam Garnes, the rookie out of BYU. 20-yard pickup for the number 2 draft choice or second rounder Jolly.
Yeah, he's from Brigham Young. He went to Brigham Young as a quarterback. They made him a tight end, and he really understands the passing game. And it looks like here that he understands the running game, and he understands how to be tough.
To the 26, opening drive of the second half. Play clock all the way down. Don't get it off. Raiders have burned a lot of timeouts in the first and third quarters this season. Gannon is saying, I got it off.
Delay a game, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Kukar says, nope, you didn't.
Yep, he was up there making audibles, and then he was watching the play clock, and as he's doing that, he's saying that he was watching it and that he did get that ball snapped before the play clock got down.
Real close.
That was very, very close. And you'd have to think with Rich Gannon and Rich Gannon's experience and knowledge and being able to do things, I would think that he got it off.
Very close. First and 15 from the 31-yard line. Pressure from the backside. And he's taken down. He's taken down by the fleet John Abraham.
Yeah, and that's a guy that they worry about because John Abraham, he was a linebacker in college, and you get a guy like that who you can play down and has the speed. He can run someone down. Here we see him again on Barry Sims. Right now he gets by him. Then he has the speed to do something about it. He can come all the way across the field and get Rich Gannon. He's a good player, and that's what the Raiders were talking about. That when they go up to the line of scrimmage, they always have to know where John Abraham is because they always want the protection to go to him.
That was a 1-yard loss, so it is a sack for Abraham. 4 Jet sack tonight. And over the middle, and that's Tim Brown who makes the catch, and that's 1,000 catches for Tim Brown. And they will stop the game to acknowledge a tremendous milestone. Charisse, his wife, Timon, his daughter, his mother, Josephine, get a ride out to the middle of the field. And, of course, Fred Biletnikoff, his position coach and one of the all-time greats and a Hall of Famer, out there as well.
Please direct you to the video board.
There's his mother, Josephine, and tell you, Tim looks just like his mother. You see Josephine down there, and you know that that's Tim Brown's mother.
And his wife is pregnant with twins to come. For a man who won the Heisman Trophy in 1987 at Notre Dame, selected by the Raiders when they were playing in Los Angeles in '88. His first coach was Mike Shanahan. Mike coached Tim Brown for the first season and the third. Steve Berline was his opening day quarterback as a rookie. Then in the mid-'90s, it looked as if he might leave. Denver had signed him, but the Raiders matched the offer sheet, and he's been a lifelong Raider.
You know, and what a night this has to be for him. This is a memory right now, and Tim Brown is making that memory, but it's something that will be with him the rest of his life, and he's going to enjoy this more as the years go on. Here's the signature Tim Brown. You see those two hands up there, the taped hands. He doesn't wear gloves. This pattern where he just comes in over the middle and finds an area to Rich Gannon, and Rich Gannon finds him. Him coming over the middle right there. There's number 1,000.
For the 36-year-old Tim Brown, it takes it to the 26-yard line and sets up a 3rd and 10. The hug from Fred Biletnikoff. 5 years following that man's retirement, he'll make an induction speech in Canton.
Isn't it something that on this field right now, there's been 3 guys in the history of the National Football League that have caught 1,000 passes, and 2 of them are there right now.
On 3rd down and 10, we're going to go to one of those guys. Yes, he will, to Jerry Rice for a touchdown.
Here's Jerry Rice, and you see him start in the end. He's going to run an in right there. And again, we talk about putting the ball on a guy. Rich Gannon put that ball on Jerry Rice perfectly. And look at Tim Brown's reaction. I got my 1,000. Jerry Rice got his touchdown.
So Tim Brown gets his 1,000th catch. Jerry Rice is over 1,000 yards again. And Brown's 1,000th catch sets up Rice's 1,440th lifetime catch and gives the Raiders the lead. Oakland 13, the Jets 10. Brown's catch sets it up. Rice makes it pay off on that drive. 76 yards in 7 plays for the Raiders. They're up by 3 as Janikowski sends it down to the goal line. Chad Morton behind Soul to the outside, and Morton down the sideline. Flag is thrown as Chad Morton takes it out to midfield. Alvis Whitted brings him down. Bernie Kukar will give us the call. And it's against the Jets because you can see their special teams coach Mike Westhoff saying, what the hell was that call? So Morton, a good run back, but the Jets have a problem with their punt returner. And for more on that, as Ferguson is the guy who gets the penalty, here's Melissa.
Well, Alan, injury update on Santana Moss, who, as you just mentioned, is so big for the Jets and their special teams. He sprained his left ankle on the punt return at the end of the second quarter. He's out for the rest of the game, so that means Chad Morton will return punts.
And Moss, as we said before, leading the league in punt returns, had an average twice the league average. And this after the penalty, instead of having the ball at the 50-yard line, the ball is now at the 15-yard line.
You know, and the other thing about losing to Santana Moss, he's also the third wide receiver, and when the Jets get good field position, that is a big part of their offense.
That means Corbett will see more action than he's been seeing lately. First and 10, catch made. Lavernius Coles. Torrey James forces him out of bounds after a gain of 13.
Really impressed with Chad Pennington, how he hangs in there and leads his guys. I mean, you talk about, you know, someone that is consistent and someone that is accurate. That's what accuracy is being able to throw the ball where the guy is going.
Hands to the face against Oakland.
Maybe Bill Callahan is right. The Raiders may break some record on penalties tonight.
Illegal use of hands. Number 24 of the defense, hands to the face. That penalty is declined. First down.
Right, that's not one of those add-on penalties like a personal foul. That's, do you want it or do you want the play? And they want the play.
And that was Charles Woodson. That's the second penalty on Charles Woodson. But again, getting back to Chad Pennington, is he has that thing down where these guys run these ins or their crosses, and he doesn't throw it behind him. He doesn't throw where they are. He throws it where they're going.
First and 10 up at the 28-yard line. Over the middle. That's caught by Corbett. Sneaks away up to the 40. That's a first down. Tackled by Dorsett, who's playing a lot tonight in place of the injured Gibson. And Martin. Pennington, 11 out of 15. Martin has really not been a factor tonight. Corbett's been their leading receiver with 3 in the first half and 1 so far here in the second.
Well, they tried to do a little running, and there hasn't been anything there, and they've kind of gotten away from it.
You're looking at Martin, who's gained over 100 yards in each of the Jets' last 2 games. Fake it to him. A lot of time for Pennington, but then he goes down. Roderick Coleman, the first guy to come in, and then John Perella finishes him off. 57 and 97 save. Good job.
And that's exactly what you want to do. You know, when you get that pressure coming from the outside, the quarterback is going to do one thing. He's going to stand up. And now when he goes and he steps up, then you want the pressure in the middle. So you get the pressure from the outside, and that's going to make him step up. And now as he steps up, boom, you got 2 pressures right there. It's when those guys get pinned on the line and he can step up and throw is when you're in trouble.
8-yard sack, second down and 18. Now to the ground. That doesn't fool anybody. Cooper is there, 75, and Trace Armstrong, the 36-year-old Armstrong, one of a half dozen Raiders who are 36 or older.
Trace Armstrong is something. I mean, he really takes care of himself. And I remember when he first came in the league with the Chicago Bears, and you know, he's kind of an undersized guy, and he built himself up and went to the Miami Dolphins, and then came to the Oakland Raiders. And he's one of those guys that is always working on his body, always working on making himself a better football player.
14th year out of Florida. 3rd down and 19 from the 32. Couple of very curious calls on 2nd and long and 3rd and long on a night when they've eschewed the running game. They give it to Martin twice, and it's 4th and 21.
I think they've kind of gone into their shell. You know, that whole Tim Brown thing kind of got the emotion not only of this team but of this crowd and got everyone in the game. And it may have taken some emotion or something out of the Jets, because it kind of looks or feels like after that Tim Brown catch, the Jets have taken a step backwards.
Both offensively and defensively. Pulled in 33 by Charles Woodson. And he brings it to the 36, and the Raiders offense comes back out. Tim Brown beginning his quest for another 1,000. 7:51 left in the 3rd. 13-10 Raiders. Back in Oakland, milestone night. There's Jerry Rice up to the moment, 1,441 catches. Chris Carter closing in on 1,100, and TB with 1,000. And it took Rice 181 games, Carter 210, and Brown 220 to get to 4 figures. From the 36-yard line, it's Garner, and he gets hog-tied by Damian Robinson.
You know, in the pass that Tim Brown caught that 1,000th pass on was one that he does a lot of. He really, I mean, he catches footballs all over, but he really works the middle well. Now what you do is you come to the inside, and he runs an option route. If the defender is inside, then you go outside. If the defender's outside like this, then you go inside. Again, you just turn and find the hole, and he does that. He's mastered that and does that better than maybe anyone's ever done.
2nd down and 8. And there is Brown, 1,001. You know, one of the amazing things, too, John, about Brown is a guy who spends so much time over the middle and takes so many hits, is now making his 159th consecutive start. So if you do the math, here's a guy who hasn't missed a start in 10 years.
Yeah, and he thought that, you know, early in his career he had an injury and he missed time, and he thought that maybe that helped him, you know, to be able to sit back to look and see how quickly things can be taken away from you. Maybe you work a little harder, maybe you enjoy it a little more, and you're fresher as you get older.
3rd down and 1. Gannon will run for the 1st down. Gannon and Brown now in their 4th year together. Here's what Rich had to say about number 81.
Tim Brown is a consummate professional, is a class act. It's a guy who takes a great deal of pride in his preparation and performance each week, and you know, he's amazing. Just continues to make plays and continues to work very hard at his task, and he's been a great influence not only on myself but on a lot of players around the locker room.
Gannon 36, Brown 36, Rice 40. De Leon 11. Gannon. Open. Brown. And did he have control of the football? And he did not. Incomplete. Banged out of his possession by Beasley.
And he really was banged out of his possession. Those are the things. You know, you work that middle and you don't get it. Then you come here in the slot and you just see him working that short corner. Jerry Rice runs off, and there is a hole right there. And Beasley is right there to take that ball out of it. You can either get there before, and if you don't get there before, you want to get there right after the ball gets there. Perfect timing by Aaron Beasley.
On 2nd and 10, quick flip, Brown. And Brown inside the 45 to the 43-yard line.
You know, they throw the ball to their wide receivers in so many ways. You know, you talk about, you know, passing, and you know, and that short passing game is like a running game. In fact, I think that one could have been a lateral. And I thought, what would happen is if his 1,000th pass was a lateral.
That was pretty close right there.
Yeah, I think that was probably one.
Raiders offense On 3rd and 1, they have been perfect this year. The Jets defense on 3rd and 1 has given up a first down 70% of the time as Gannon is under pressure, and Gannon goes down again in the arms of James Darling. So the last time we saw Gannon against Denver, the protection was so phenomenal he barely got touched. This time 4 sacks.
There's where he's trying to throw. He's going to look out to the right here, and he wants to throw it right now to Jerry Rice. And you see that they got in the lane, but took that one away, and then he couldn't come back. I'm surprised that someplace that they get 3rd and short, that you don't have a little more confidence in your running game.
You'd think, especially this running game, Garner, and that is extracted from Morton, who didn't call for the fair catch. The Raiders gather around. Marcus Knight is the guy who hit him.
We talked about the Jets losing Santana Moss as a punt returner, as a 3rd wide receiver. Chad Morton, a kickoff returner, goes back to do the punt returning. And look what happened.
Every Raider says we have it, and the line judge concurs. It's the first turnover of the game. It's the Jets' first fumble in 5 games.
I'll tell you, Chad Morton never looked comfortable on that. I mean, watch how far his hands are apart. He never looked like he got everything together. Watch Marcus Knight here. I mean, he's going to get there. There's no fair catch. Again, you have to give him the right to make the catch. Marcus Knight timed that one perfectly.
Adam True, who is the snapper, recovered it. Now Wheatley to the 10-yard line, gain of 2.
And that's probably what the Raiders are thinking. They had a 3rd and short, and they didn't run the ball. And someone says, doggone it, let's get some running in this deal. And so they come back, they get a turnover here, and instead of going for it, they run the ball. Look at this, man. There's a lot of scrumming going on down there. Well, Adam True, he just picks it up and keeps bringing it up. You know, usually on those piles like that, the ball will change places about 3 or 4 times.
2nd down and 8. Big defensive stand here for the Jets to try to limit the 3. Caught, 6-yard line. Brown, he takes it to the 3-yard line. It's going to set up a 3rd and 1.
And those are the plays that we were talking about that Tim Brown works so well, that middle. The option, again, if you sit and the guy is inside, you go outside. If he's outside, you go inside. See, he starts in motion, comes down here, just finds a hole right there, comes under control. So he can go all the way across or just stop in any hole he finds in that zone.
So the Raiders have been perfect this season on 3rd and 1 until the last 3rd and 1. Now here they are again with Ritchie and Crockett in the backfield.
I think they run this one.
Crockett 32 behind Ritchie. Bangs his way to the 1, and that's going to move the chains and give them a 1st and goal.
What they do is they put an extra tackle in. Matt Stinchcomb comes in and plays the left tight end. And then they have real power. I mean, John Ritchie is a lead blocker, and that's the one you have to get. Watch John Ritchie here. And this is what creates a hole. Whap, right there. That's what got him the 1st down, was John Ritchie's block.
Again, Crockett the tailback. Ritchie is the fullback. Run it again with Crockett into the end zone. So the first turnover of the game is a killer for the Jets.
Again, John Ritchie makes a heck of a lead, and you just go right in behind him. Here's John Ritchie. Here he comes right there. Boom, there's a block right there. He just gets right down below him. Crockett is a very powerful runner anyway, and the closer he gets to the goal line, the lower he gets. Zach Crockett can be a fullback, but when you get close to the goal line or at short yardage, he's a tailback.
Janikowski with Leckler holding. So Santana Moss gets hurt. Chad Morton has to return punts as well as kickoffs. Gives it to the Raiders, and they cash in for 7 to make it 20 20-10 Oakland. Thursday night hockey comes back to ESPN. It's the Rangers and the Flyers, or the Stanley Cup champion Red Wings against the Coyotes. He shoots, he scores. Thursday, ESPN regional coverage of the National Hockey League. Chad Morton from the 2. Up to the 24-yard line. And a flag is down. John, I've got to get you to a hockey game before this year is done. I know you've only been to one in your life, right?
Yeah, and I couldn't figure it out. I mean, everything was happening so quickly, and guys were jumping in and going out, and you couldn't see substitutions on, and I just couldn't figure it out.
41 of the kicking team, hands to the face. 5 more yards at the end of the run. First down.
During the break, I'm going to explain icing to you. Stand by.
Thank you.
2:26 left in the third. 20-10 Oakland. The early 80s when they moved to LA and then came back here for the 95 season. Oakland up by 20-10. 2:26 remaining in the third, and the Jets take over at their own 30-yard line with Pennington in the pocket, swinging it over the middle, caught by Coles at the 50-yard line. Some major comebacks this week, and as you can see this week in the NFL, teams overcoming 10-point deficits, 10 or more, 6 of them yesterday, tying the record for the most in any given week. So do you see a 7th tonight?
You know what I see the Jets not being able to overcome that stoppage. I mean, it was after Tim Brown caught that 1,000th pass, the Raiders have had all the momentum.
They certainly have, but the Jets trying to get it back. Ball at the 45, gain of 6 from Martin.
Yeah, I think it all started here. It was kind of like the Raiders offense was kind of sleepwalking. And then you see right here, Tim Brown catches that pass. That gives him 1,000. And then look what happened from that point on. Jerry Rice touchdown. Kickoff return, fumble, Raiders recover. Zach Crockett touchdown. I mean, you talk about a momentum changer. I think that stoppage was really a momentum changer.
Very big, and it came before a 3rd down and 10 as well. And this is Martin taking it inside the 40 to the 39-yard line, and that's a first down as the Jets try to regain that momentum with a minute to play in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets had some tough things happen to them. I mean, that was one of them, playing here on the road, losing Santana Moss. And then, having to fight an uphill battle now. But, as Herm Edwards says, there's no quitting this group. There's no quitting him.
He had that press conference that got a lot of play when somebody talked about, how do you keep the guys from quitting? And he went off on that, and that seemed to help turn it around. At least it was at the moment at which they went to San Diego, won a big game there, and haven't lost since. Pennington swings it out. Caught in the flat, Martin, but good coverage there. Rod Woodson tackles him on what figures to be the final play of the third quarter. So we will go to the fourth in Oakland. At the end of 3, it is Oakland 20 and the New York Jets 10. And ABC's Monday Night Football will resume after this from our ABC stations.
Take it to the top with dinner and a movie for Dégagé.
ESPN and Sports Center following the game. Berkeley, home of the University of California. Herm Edwards actually went to school at Berkeley for a while and then wound up going to San Diego State. Played with Philadelphia for most of his career. Now the second-year Jet coach. His team down by 10. Fake the end around. Swing it over the middle. Taken there by Lamont Jordan. And Jordan gets up after going down and has a first down at the 28-yard line. Monday Night Football being brought to you by Microsoft, providing software for the agile business. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you, nothing's better. Dr. Pepper. Warner Brothers new motion picture. Analyze that, coming soon to theaters. And Subway, fresh made sandwiches on fresh baked bread. Subway, eat fresh. A Subway that goes under the Bay Area Rapid Transit. You look at the Bay Bridge. As Herm Edwards watches his offense now on first down from the 27-yard line, and Pennington has to take a timeout. Their first. 50 seconds into the fourth quarter. Pennington trying to move them downfield with Oakland up 20-10. There's Herm Edwards' mother, Martha, in attendance tonight. Knows she's on national television. There's Leah. We saw Leah in that piece in the hat. We saw it at halftime. Sitting there amongst the Raider faithful.
Kind of calm for the team being down by 10.
Yeah. With 14-10 to go in the fourth after the Jets took a timeout. First down at the 27-yard line. Woodson stays right with him. Martin takes the ball to the 24-yard line.
The Raider defense is really playing well against the run tonight, because to me, any time the Raiders get in trouble over the last few years, it's when they can't stop the run. And tonight they started stopping the run early. The first time the Jets tried to run, and they've continued it the whole game. They all have gaps. They all have their fits, as they say, and there's no place to run. There's no hole, and Charles Woodson is right up there for the bounce out.
Jets have averaged a paltry 2.3 yards per rush. Martin's looking to throw, but the secondary didn't bite. Looked like he had Corbett in the end zone, but he was covered, and Coles was there as well, and he has to run it out of bounds.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. It was a run pass, and Corbett was in the end zone. You see him here. He takes the ball. Now, Corbett is deep, but if he's not wide open, you always tell a running back, if he's not wide open, don't throw the ball. I don't know what the definition of wide open or his definition of wide open, but it looks like Charles Woodson was back there playing it pretty well.
Third down and 10 from the 27-yard line. Blitz gets it away, but only to the 27, just about the line of scrimmage. Terrence Shaw forced the issue, and so now John Hall, to make it a 7-point game, comes out to attempt what will be approximately a 45-yard field goal.
That was a heck of a play by Chad Pennington, because we're going to see coming off the corner right there. You see Shaw coming off the corner, but being able to get rid of the ball, complete it, kept them in a field goal possible position.
45-yard attempt by Hall, who's had one block tonight. Made from 36. Had one block from 34. Turk puts it down, and Hall's kick is good. Through the same uprights that he booted his 53-yarder through at the end of the regular season last year. Makes it a 7-point game. 20-13 Raiders. In Oakland, the Raiders trying to make it 4 straight wins. The Jets seeking their 5th straight win. 7-point game after the Hall field goal. 20-13 Raiders. John Hall kicking off. Marcus Knight from the 4. Flag thrown at the end of the play. Out of bounds up near the 37-yard line. Bernie Kukar getting the call from the side judge. Holding. Return team pushing the Raiders back, and now Rich Gannon goes to work. Gannon has a chance for 4 single-season records. He's on a pace to break them all. Drew Bledsoe, 691 passes in a season. Rich would have to average 46. All he needs to average in the last 5 games, 18 completions a game. He sets that mark, held by Warren Moon. He's close to Ken Anderson's record, 70.6% in terms of completions. And the big one, Dan Marino, 5,084 yards in his Super Bowl season of '84. Gannon would need to average 310. Right now he is trying to throw for 300 yards for the 9th time this season, and he's only 21 yards away with 12 minutes to play in the game. From the 25 out of this passing set, there's a completion to Garner. Taken out of bounds by Damian Robinson, and let's go to the field and Melissa.
Well, Al, when you talk to Rich Gannon, the last thing he wants the conversation to center around are his own numbers. And he told me that's because he learned a very big lesson early in his career. He had a bad habit of looking up at the scoreboard during games. And he said if his numbers were good at the end of the first half, he'd say, oh, okay, great, I'm having a good day. Then he'd come out in the second half and play terribly. And he remembers in Kansas City, Marty Schottenheimer saying, don't look at the scoreboard. It's too distracting. You have to stay focused on what you're doing. And that's why he's not consumed with his numbers, as good as they may be.
Last 2 years playing the best football of his career. 2nd and 4. Brown out of bounds. That's a first down.
That's kind of like don't count your chips till the playing's done, huh?
Absolutely.
That's the way I think you play every game. I don't think that you look at the score and think this is what I have now, or this is. Even thinking golf. Geez, if I just get this or that, I'll have that score. You just go out and you play to win, and then whatever the numbers are, those are the numbers you played with.
But it's easier to do that when you're 36 than when you're 26.
Well, you have to learn that.
1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. Garner over the 50 to the 48-yard line. John, I've been thinking all week. You had the turducken on Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
Now, let's say you get to Christmas. Could you vary it? Could you have, for instance, like a turhampkin? Could you throw some ham in instead of the duck?
Well, they do have a thing. I don't want to get too much in this, but they do have a thing. After you stuff the chicken and the duck and the turkey, then you stuff it into a pig, and that's another ingredient. I haven't taken anyone that far yet, but that's the next step we do.
2nd and 1. Tyrone Wheatley picks up the first. John, before you went to turducken, of course, you didn't have time to think about things like that because you were busy patrolling the sidelines. I just want to know one thing. You coached 2 Monday night games, December 6th of '76, and then a year later, there you are. Now, you washed the shirt and the pants in between, didn't you?
No, who said that?
Well, I don't know.
No, that's just an assumption by you.
I'm asking.
No, didn't worry about things like that, man. We're just trying to get a win.
Now, you didn't have a clothing deal in those years, did you?
No. That's why our producer, Fred Godelli, asked me if we had a clothing deal. Are you kidding me? Clothing deal? You want to put a saddle on this horse.
Wednesday, all new laughs with Damon Wayans on My Wife and Kids, and then a great new episode of George Lopez. That's Wednesday night on the American Broadcasting Company. Oakland, California, on a very mild Monday night. First down at the 47-yard line. Wheatley is the back in this set. Just put the pressure on. Again, gets it away over the middle to John Ritchie, the fullback out of Stanford, for a first down to the 33.
And he knows exactly what to do with it. When you're a fullback and you get the ball over the middle, just turn and run straight upfield. Don't run sideways. There's no moves in you. This is what you have. You take the ball and you turn and you run straight, and the first thing that you can ram, you ram. That's John Ritchie.
John Ritchie's 10th catch of the year puts Gannon over 300 yards. And Ritchie, that's a scene you see. It's almost as if he paints it on. I mean, it's real, but he's bloodied in every game from the 33-yard line. Garner. And he is forced out of bounds, but not until he picks up the first and then wants a flag for a face mask. Doesn't get it. Gannon, meanwhile, 311 yards. Rich Gannon has now thrown the 300 or more yards 9 times this season. with still 4 games to play, and that ties an NFL record.
You know what happens on those lumps as we watch John Ritchie there? You get those 2 lumps right in your head where the helmet slides up and down. Like there. You see he has the lumps right there. And then they don't go away all season. I mean, they're right there, and they just stay there all year.
There's 2 holes there. There's Doug Jolly making the catch. So Gannon, 300 yards, and there are the other 3, Marino, Moon, and Warner, and Rich figures to break that habit by himself. And he does it against the Jets, and that's unusual in the sense that the Jets have gone almost 2 years without allowing a 300-yard passing game.
Big thing, the Jets have played pretty well on defense, but they didn't create or force a turnover.
2nd and 7. Gannon. Low. Intended for Ritchie. 3rd and 7. Now, if the Raiders don't gain another yard on this play, don't get a yard on this particular play, then Janikowski would come in for about a 35, 36-yard field goal attempt to try to make it at least a 2-possession lead for Oakland.
And that's the thing, you know, we talked about the Jets and their field position through special teams. The other thing, when they were winning those 4 straight games, they were getting turnovers.
3rd and 7. Gannon has that one knocked away. So now to try to make the lead 10 again, they'll bring Janikowski out. And he'll be kicking from the 25 or 26-yard line.
One of the things that the Jets talked about was getting hands up right there in the B gap. And the B gap is that gap between the guard and the tackle, because they broke it down. They said most of Rich Gannon's passing lanes are between the offensive guard and the offensive tackle. So they always want a hand up or a body in the B gap.
Sean Ellis knocked it away, and Janikowski bangs this one through from 36. So with 7:44 left in regulation, Oakland extends its lead to 10 again. Sunday on a new alias, will a family that spies together die together? Then on a new practice, one lawyer must face his own guilt before he destroys himself. A new practice follows a new alias this coming Sunday right here on ABC. 23-13, the Raiders on top. Janikowski to kick it off. Morton from the 2-yard line. Back out to the 28-yard line. You dreamed about this, didn't you?
Well, yeah, that was before fast track. I wanted to catch that jump right there. That's exactly right. When I was a kid, you know, it was a big thing going over the Bay Bridge. I always thought the coolest job and the best job would be the guy that got to take the money on the bridge. They're like things you want to be when you grow up.
What kind of music would you play? I mean, you'd need a radio in there.
No,
right?
I just wanted to be out there in the bridge and be the guy that got all the money.
Pennington going deep into traffic, and that's incomplete. Good double coverage on Kevin Swain over the middle. He got bracketed, and Charles Woodson is hurt. Woodson, who missed a lot of time earlier this year with a shoulder injury, and this is a different thing right now, reaching for his calf, lower leg.
And Charles Woodson was the guy that was running and causing the bracket that you were talking about. One of the things that Chad Pennington throws that ball in there, and Charles Woodson makes a heck of a play. I mean, did you see, instead of getting a hand on him, he just dipped his left shoulder in there and got inside. And then when he went down, he hurt his leg, but that was a heck of a play. I mean, that's a way to play a post pattern without interfering.
So Terrence Shaw comes in to replace him, and they're already minus their starting strong safety, Derek Gibson. That's why Dorsett has been playing tonight. Now Woodson goes out, and the question is, can the Jets exploit this? But the Jets are also minus Santana Moss, who's gone for the game. 2nd down and 10 from the 29-yard line. 7.5 to go. Pennington throws near side, coming over to try to make the catch, and at the 44 does. Lavernius Coles, great grab. 16 yards.
That's right in front of Brandon Jennings. You're talking about, do you exploit when they take the corner out? That's exactly what you do. They look in there. Jennings goes in there. It's his first play. He's a little cautious. He's off, and you just throw right in front of him.
1st and 10. Great catch to stay in bounds as he's going out. And then that catch is made again by Coles. Lavernius has it at the Raider 44. Jets going without a huddle with 7 minutes to go in regulation.
They found out something they like over here on this left side, this Brandon Jennings, and this is where they want to throw the ball right here.
Jennings lining up on Coles. Press coverage on him right now. And Pennington now looking over the middle, throwing into a lot of traffic, and is lucky that one wasn't picked. Corbett surrounded by Raiders.
Yeah, I think he expected a cover one or a man coverage, and he got a cover two, and he threw it right into the teeth of cover two. They have two safeties sitting back there, and you see Corbett gets by right here. You have the linebacker, Eric Barton, is running with him, but they have the two safeties, so he tries to get it over Barton. But look who's there, Rod Woodson, number 26.
2nd down and 10 now at the 44. Wide open is Coles. How did he get that open? Well, one reason is you're -2 starting defensive backs. So Lavernius Coles, big drive, 3 catches on this drive, 26 yards here, and 8 for the game, and 120 yards in reception.
And that was a heck of a throw by Chad Pennington. You see here, that's a zone, and sometimes when you get ahead, then your zones become too soft. And I think that's what the Raiders did, is they played zone. They didn't want anyone to beat them deep quickly, so they softened up the zone too much, and that's why there was a wide hole in it.
And now they get Charles Woodson back into the game on 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line. Good protection. Pennington over the middle. Lamont Jordan on a crossing pattern. Gets out of bounds at the 14-yard line. What was the deal with Woodson? Let's check in with Melissa.
Well, Al, you saw him being helped off the field just moments ago. He twisted his right ankle. The trainers taped it up. He was going to test it out to see if he could come back in, but apparently they needed him back in right away, and you know why. He's gone to the Pro Bowl each of his 4 seasons in the NFL.
He comes back in, but now Lamont Jordan, who made that reception, is the Jet who is injured. And so a stoppage in play here as he is out of bounds, but they'll stop play and work on Jordan with under 6 to play, and the Raiders by 10 at home. Wednesday, primetime television event. Whitney Houston talks to Diane Sawyer. Don't miss it at a special time Wednesday. That's 9 Eastern and Pacific, 8 Central and Mountain right here on ABC. We'll check on Jordan in a second, the extent of his injury as he goes back to the Jets bench. 2nd down and 4 after the injury timeout from the 13-yard line. Pennington softly over the middle. Great touch and a touchdown to Trebek. What touch on that pass.
That's the thing that he has. I mean, he has great touch. And I'll tell you, he has a pretty good feeling here with Wayne Corbett. Wayne Corbett is the slot receiver right here. And you see him, again, it's a zone. And the minute that he gets by the first guy, he knows that if he can get away from Rod Woodson, he can get a touchdown. And watch what Pennington does. He just looks just enough to his left to hold Woodson over to that side so that they can get in there.
And Hall just does boot it through just inside the left upright. And so Chad Pennington marches him down the field. 7 plays, 71 yards, and it takes him only 2 minutes, 12 seconds. And for all the world, looks like a guy who's been playing for 10 years.
You know, and I felt that way just watching him on tape and just talking to him and just the way he carries himself and the things that he does. And he's talking about how he looked off. Now watch this. He's gonna look off Rod Woodson just enough to let Corbett get in there. You see him look to the left. That was just enough to hold Rod Woodson so that Wayne Corbett could get in behind him. That's what they were talking about.
And lofts it in just beautifully.
Yeah, he just held his head in the middle just long enough to let him get over there so that he could come back to Corbett. Isn't that something about Wayne Corbett? He makes, they win, and then he says he wants the ball more or should have it more. And I think he's just a fighter. I think he's a feisty guy. I think he's a competitor, and he just wants to be a part of it. And again, there's always that fine line between are you selfish or are you a competitor?
Right. Well, you play receiver for the Jets, you have to write a book called Just Give Me the Damn Ball. Now it's his turn.
But isn't it all the receivers?
Sure.
I mean, if you look at any position, what position is the one that will pop off the most?
Even Jerry Rice, through some of those years, would pop off about it.
Yeah, he had. I mean, he would, a couple times a year, Jerry Rice would have his. Terrell Owens has his. Randy Moss has his. Wayne Corbett has his.
Kickoff field at 6-yard line. Marcus Knight. Up to the 26. Let's check it again with Melissa.
Well, Al, you talk about Wayne Corbett's complaints about not getting the ball enough. I talked to Chad Pennington about it, and he said as soon as he heard those comments, he went up to Corbett, and he said, listen, just try to be patient with me. I'm just trying to get more comfortable with you. And certainly the two of them have been working on it every day after practice. Just Pennington and Corbett stay for extra time to work on timing, to work on getting to know one another. And he said Corbett's been working harder than he's ever seen him work before.
That's a pretty good response from Pennington. Just be a little patient with me.
Yeah, and I think that's why Pennington is such a great quarterback. Not a great quarterback, good, but developing into being a great quarterback because he's very smart. I mean, he knows all situations.
Here's Gannon throwing, caught 36-yard line. Doug Jolly. And let's also acknowledge Vinny Testaverde. Not that we should be surprised, having known Vinny through the years, but I mean, he's just exuded class in a situation where he loses his job, may never get a chance to start again, and has been nothing but extremely beneficial to Pennington.
Yeah, and that's one of the first things that Chad Pennington will tell you is that he's gotten all the backing and cooperation and everything from Vinny Testaverde, and he said he's just been as great can be.
First and 10 now, 41-yard line. Jet D tries to get the ball back. On the ground, Garner, and he gets wrapped up after a gain of 2 yards by Jason Ferguson. Second down and 8.
Chad Pennington has had to go the tough way because you lose Santana Moss, so you lose your punt returner, you lose your speed. Your running game hasn't been able to go. I mean, that's been a big part of it. Being Curtis Martin, being able to run. They don't have that tonight. They've been getting turnovers. Their defense hasn't gotten any turnovers. So this has been an uphill battle for the Jets and Chad Pennington.
Second down and 7. Clock ticking down to 4:15. Gannon, the vet, taking the play clock as far down as he can. And swings it out. Garner gets away from the initial hit by Beasley and then gets taken down finally by Coward, and a big third down play for the Jet defense coming up right here.
And this is a situation that the Jet defense, we saw the piece at halftime, we saw what Herm Edwards was talking about, what Ted Cottrell was talking about. This is a situation that they think the Raiders don't like. This is a situation that their defense has been trying all night to get them into.
Big play, otherwise you begin to start thinking about taking your timeouts defensively. And remember, they've already squandered one. They have 2 plus the 2-minute warning. 3rd and 8 from the 43. Only a 3-man rush. Caught again by Rice to the 40-yard line of the Jets on a huge play. And Jerry is down. And a flag as well. Personal foul, face mask against the Jets. More yardage.
Yeah, the thing is, you can talk about 3rd and long and getting him in 3rd and long.
Pulling on the face mask. Number 51 defense. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
James Darling.
But when you have great players like Jerry Rice and you have Rich Gannon throwing to him, great players are going to make big plays in a big game when the team needs them. And you can get them in 3rd and long, and Rich Gannon knows where to throw it. Jerry Rice knows where to go to catch it and where he has to go to get a first down.
And that's why he was shaken up, because Darling, I don't think he was grabbing and pulling. It looked like that was more of the incidental face mask, but regardless, it goes to the 24-yard line. 14,000-yard seasons to JR. And then the clock will start when the ball is signaled ready for play here.
And then the Jets are going to have to start using their timeouts now.
The clock is not rolling, though. For some reason, the game clock is not running, but the play clock is at the 24-yard line. It is Wheatley to the 20-yard line.
So the Jets will take a timeout now. Then they have one more timeout. And after you start, that's why you always want to have 3 timeouts, you know, so you can really stop. And then when you lose one, then you can't do these kinds of things. But once you take that first one that the Jets just take, then now you can't allow them a first down.
Well, they don't take their timeout here. They're going to get to stop the clock 3 times, twice of their own volition and once at the 2-minute warning. And they figure to stop it here if they can stop them shy of the first down. From the 19th, second down, and Wheatley to the outside, and Wheatley picks up the first down.
So now it's tough. I mean, now after they get the first down, and now you take one, that's tough. I thought they should have taken it before that down, but then again they had to stop them on that down, so it's academic.
Now they have to, and they have 1 left. 2:29 and a first down.
Oklahoma and Colorado meet for a conference title and a guaranteed BCS bid in the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship, Saturday night, 8 Eastern on ABC.
Playoff picture right now in the AFC. If the season stopped at the moment, the Colts and Chargers would get byes. The Steelers and Dolphins in the 3 and 4 spot. The Raiders with a victory tonight would be 8 and 4, but the Chargers have beaten them head-to-head, so they in effect would be leading in the division. The Titans, the Patriots, the Broncos all in the hunt. The Jets, a loss would really hurt at this point because of all of the teams that are above 500. Meantime, first things first, 1st and 10 here. Here's Wheatley. They'll stop him for a loss of 4. And with 1 timeout remaining, they take it here. So they take a timeout, have to stop him here. Then at the 2-minute warning, they'd have a 3rd down, and they're out of timeouts.
Yeah, but as you say, they have to do it now and then take the 2-minute as a timeout and then hope that they can stop them on 3rd down and make them kick a field goal. Then you get another timeout, a change of possession.
At worst, and then of course go down the field and have to score a touchdown, assuming Janikowski kicks a field goal and do it without a timeout. But they're going to add a second to the scoreboard clock. The Chargers and the Raiders meet next week in San Diego. That's a huge game. There's Pennington already talking about what's going to happen when they get the ball back, if they get the ball back. But the Jets are going to be in a lot of trouble only because it's going to be very tough to vault through, get by all of those teams on your way to a wild card berth.
Well, and that's a great thing about this part of the season. I mean, I've always felt and said that you kind of get yourself in position to make a run at the playoffs now. So you got to make a run. I mean, at somewhere you have to make a run and win games to get into the playoffs.
The good news for the Jets is they'd only be a game back in their own division at least. Here's Garner. And he stopped at the 16, so the clock will tick down to the 2-minute warning. It will be 3rd down and 14.
The Jet defense is doing what they have to do. Josh Evans on that play, you know, getting penetration, get in their backfield. Don't let them get the ball. You know, don't let them get out to the side. Make the play get over quickly, even though you don't have a timeout, so that you can get to the 2-minute warning. Then you're going to have one more play.
2 minutes to go. 2 minutes away from a 4th straight Raider victory if they can hold on.
Are you ready for some football?
Ricky Williams has paid big dividends for the Dolphin offense, but the tough Bear D aims to take a bite out of Ricky and the fish.
Michaels and Madden are here for Monday night.
Monday Night Football from Oakland being brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. The flame broiled Whopper from Burger King. At Burger King, you've got it. Viagra. Ask your doctor if Viagra is right for you. And Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Yeah, this is a tough situation right here for the Raiders. I would think that the play would be that they would throw the ball in the end zone. But then if it's incomplete, then that stops the clock. If you run the ball, you're probably not going to get a first down anyway.
Milestones reached tonight by Brown, Rice, and Gannon. If you don't gain a yard, then Janikowski comes in for a 34-yard field goal attempt to make it a 6-point game, which of course makes the Jets have to get a touchdown.
Yeah, but if they could get a touchdown here, then it would all be over.
Right, I mean, if the Raiders get a touchdown. Yep.
I think with Gannon and this offense and these players, I think they go for the touchdown.
3rd and 14. Gannon checking off, realigns Garner. Pump fake, swings it to the outside, and then Brown, of course, has the presence of mind not to go out of bounds, even though he made the catch on the sideline. And now Janikowski will come in. They'll let the play clock tick down, and he'll try to make it a 6-point Raider lead from about the 20-yard line, which makes it a 30-yard attempt.
I think Rich Gannon did try and take a shot. He had Jerry Rice down here on the left side, and I think he was looking there. If there's not there, then he was going to come off short, and then just go for the field goal.
Officially, this will be 29 yards out of a Leckler hold. Play clock all the way down. Snap it to one. It's a low snap, and Leckler got it down nicely. And then Janikowski will make the Jets go all the way down the field without a timeout, and 72 seconds remaining in the game. (26-20).
Hey, this was very, very close to being blocked. Watch this, Leckler. It's a little late getting down there, and right there he just got it over that lineman who was diving over the top.
Adam True did
right
the
here.
Yeah.
Well, that was very close. It looked like to getting that thing tipped. That's why you always want a kicker that can get the ball up quickly.
Next Monday night we go to Miami. Jay Fiedler's going to get the start for the Dolphins. Chris Carter will play, won't start though. Bears go to Miami to face the Dolphins on Monday Night Football. Miami in a dogfight in the AFC East. Now the Jets have Chad Morton. Ironically, he is the GOAT right now. It was his fumble that put the Raiders, in effect, gave them the opportunity to go up by 10. He's a great kickoff return man, and a chance for atonement here if Janikowski kicks it to him.
Well, Janikowski has to kick it to him. I don't know, what he'd like to do is kick a touchback, but what he's been doing is kind of directional kicking when he's been successful. And he's kicked the ball between the numbers and the sideline. That's what they'd like to do, and pin Chad Martin there. Just kick the ball. Here's the numbers. Here's the sideline. Kick the ball into here and pin him into the side. But don't kick the ball deep in the middle.
And he kicks a ground ball that gets lateral back to Morton at the 25-yard line. And Morton cannot break free to the outside, and the flag comes in at the end of the play.
No, and that's not a bad way to do it. I mean, the last thing that Janikowski wanted to do was kick that ball to Chad Morton.
There is no penalty. There is no penalty.
All right, that took 6 seconds off the clock. The ball will be spotted at the 26-yard line, so they have to go 74 yards in 66 seconds. No timeouts.
And you can do that if you can get first downs. I've always thought that that's the biggest thing, because if you can get first downs, then the quarterback can spike the ball.
Woodson shaken up on the last series, back in. And Pennington facing a huge test, throws to the outside, and it's incomplete, and Terrence Shaw defending.
Aaron Shaw came very, very close to not only defending but taking that thing the other way. I don't know, again, that you have to throw to the sidelines. I mean, that was, always the thinking that when you have no timeouts, you have to throw the ball to the sidelines and get out of bounds. But again, if you can get first downs, then you can give away a down by spiking it. because all defenses in this situation will defend the sidelines.
2nd and 10 from the 26. Throws intended for Coles, and that is incomplete, covered by Torrey James.
All defenses in this situation will defend the sidelines. That's why you like to hit things in the middle and get up there again and spike, and you can just see that there's no way that the Raiders are going to let them throw that ball to the outside.
Jets tonight have not converted a single 3rd down play, and here it's 3rd down and 10 with 56 seconds. Pennington guns it, caught, 38, Coles, and that's a 1st down. Good time, obviously, for their first conversion. Now they'll have to come up to the line of scrimmage. Clock still ticking down. Pennington took a lot of time, actually, under those circumstances to get the spike. 36.
Yeah, he did, and then I think he took time trying to get those 2 outs out there. That had he done that earlier and then come up and spike, he'd probably have another play or 2.
Right. Now Pennington went over to the bench as if he thought he had all the time in the world. He took his helmet off. He went over to the bench, and Herm says, "Get back into the huddle."
Yeah, this is not a timeout. This isn't a timeout. You just spiked the ball, and this is still running here.
Yeah. Pennington took the helmet off. It's like, hey, I've got the whole enchilada, the whole 2 minutes. 2nd and 10. Chad lofting it, beautiful throw, caught. Coles, 35. Now they've got to get up and spike it as fast as they can from the 35-yard line. 27-yard pickup. And now the spike coming with 19 seconds.
See, and now they can still do that again. I think they can still, hit another one in the middle and get up and spike it, and then from that point on, they'd have to go for the end zone. But being here in the 35, they can take shots at the end zone here too.
Coles tonight, 10 catches for 158 yards.
Defensive coordinators will usually tuck their pants up pretty high when this is happening to them.
Pennington rolling out, pressured, sacked at the 45-yard line by Roderick Coleman. And the clock keeps running, and they've got to spike the ball here to get another playoff.
In that situation, that's the one thing you can't afford. You always tell your quarterback, when you have no timeouts, you cannot afford to take a sack. You have to get rid of the ball. You have to get out. You have to throw it away. You see Coleman, he just comes in, and again, the Raiders have great speed. With their defensive lineman there, Reagan Upshaw, playing his first game back.
Yeah, he came blasting through. So the final play of the game, barring a defensive penalty. And Pennington is going to launch one toward the end zone, and it's picked off at the 9-yard line by Rod Woodson. Well, that's fitting. The future Hall of Famer picks one off on a night when a couple of Hall of Famers to be have huge nights. Brown and Rice, and the Raiders do it again. A tale of 3 seasons for the Oakland Raiders. Win 4, lose 4, win 4 again to go 8-4 as the Jets lose for the first time in 5 weeks. 26-20 Oakland. Horse trailer player of the game, it's got to be Tim Brown. 9 catches, 99 yards, over 1,000 in his illustrious career. And Tim Brown is with Melissa.
Well, what a night for Tim Brown. As you mentioned, his 1,000th reception of his career. We talked so much about what you were anticipating of what the moment would feel like. What did it actually feel like?
Well, I'll tell you what, it was absolutely great. I had no idea my mom and dad were here, so to see. My mom has never been to a football game since I've been playing ball, so to have her out here and to have her to witness this just makes it all worthwhile.
Where does this rank among all of your individual accomplishments?
Well, certainly, the Heisman Trophy is pretty high up there, but this has to go right next to the Heisman, no doubt about it. And I've been a blessed man. God has really taken care of me, and I'm just happy things have worked out.
Where's the ball going to go?
Oh, it's going to be sitting right. I think I can stick it in between that Heisman, in between the legs somewhere, so I'm going to try and do that for sure.
All right, let's look at the way the season has gone for the Raiders. 4 straight wins, 4 straight losses, then 4 straight wins. Where is this team right now as you head into the final 4 games of the season?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're very confident. We know that we can go out and get it done. If we get rid of penalties tonight, this is not even a football game. So we just got to go clean up some stuff, and we know that we control our own destiny, number one. So, and we just got to take it one game at a time and go out and get it done.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks, Melissa. Appreciate it.
All right, Al, well, a momentous night for Tim Brown.
For Brown, for Gannon, 3:51. The big play in the game, of course, Morton's fumble on the punt. The Brown ceremony really also helped to turn things around. And the Raiders win it 26-20 to Miami next week. The Dolphins hosting the Chicago Bears. Stay tuned now for your local news. And on the West Coast, it's a special edition of Monk. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Melissa Stark. Good night from Oakland, California. Tradition continues. Sports' biggest events right here. This is ABC Sports Championship Television.
ABC Sports thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.
Thank you. Not an easy win tonight. How did you guys pull it out?
I'll tell you what, it was going to be that kind of game with the Jets, and we just fought hard. We played our hearts out, and the defense comes someplace at the end and kind of seal the victory. But it was a tough game for us.
How important was it for Tim Brown to get this record?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's an unbelievable player, and he's a guy that takes a great deal of pride in his preparation, performance. He's had a heck of a career, and to see that happen tonight on Monday night was pretty special.
Of course, the irony that the next play is a touchdown to Jerry Rice. A little reminder from Jerry, he's still the best.
Well, we tried to distract him with that little performance and then sneak Jerry in the back door, and it just came up at a good time, and we caught him in a good coverage, and Jerry made a great play to the kids.
Now, you always say you hate statistics, you hate to think about it, but for you, a record-setting night as well, your 9th 300-yard passing game. What is enabling you to be this prolific?
Well, I'll tell you what, the guys up front have been unbelievable all year, and they're really the heroes of this whole thing. They've given me great protection all year, and we've had a couple sacks tonight, but some of that was coverage and some of that was on me, but those guys did an unbelievable job all night.
What was the difference, Rich, in the second half with the offense finally being productive?
Well, I'll tell you, we came out so quick in the first half, and we're getting a lot of plays called, but we were really killing ourselves with penalties. We got behind early with the penalties and really put ourselves in a bad situation, but second half we did a better job in that regard.
You hear what they're yelling? You hear what they're yelling right here?
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't really, like I said, I'm really focused on what I can do to help our football team.
Thanks, Rich. And they're yelling MVP in case you can't hear. Back to you.
They may be right, Andrea. Thank you very much. Sean Salisbury has joined us now. Raiders came into tonight's game leading the NFL in passing and total offense. Rich Gannon, of course, the guy who makes it all go. Now, back in the day, you and Gannon went back and forth for the starting job in Minnesota. What is Rich Gannon doing now that he was not doing then?
A lot of things that I didn't do or couldn't do. Rich has become a thinking man's quarterback. He's got all the talent. Now he's applied it with great preparation. And I agree with those fans. While Michael Vick's close, Rich Gannon, I believe, is the MVP of the league. Now, I'm going to show you some of the little things that he does that maybe we don't see at home that are reason. Patience as a quarterback. 3rd and 15. What's going to happen here? A lot of quarterbacks want to push it down the field and force something. I like the pocket here. Look at the pocket. He doesn't run out and start to panic. Sets in there. Here's the key. Away from this guy. He looked him to there. Nice pitch and catch. Gives his receiver a chance to catch it. Jerry Porter, first down. Now, you're going to say, why this? Okay, another good pocket. Looking around. Covered. Pump fake. Come over here. How about this offensive line? Guys coming, Rich still looking. What do I do with the football? I'm not going to throw it to the other team. Let me elude this, get over here, get some help from my lineman. One more time. Don't throw it to this guy. Don't throw it to anybody else's hands. Throw it out of bounds. They kicked the field goal. Patience ended up being a part of the difference in the football game that made the Jets go for it. Once again, Gannon steps in. How good is this? The accuracy away from this man where his guy can catch it. Another first down, moving chains. It's accuracy. When you throw 9 times over 300 yards, and the reason your team's winning is because he's kept them in every game, Rich Gannon right now is the MVP the way the Raiders are playing.
Yeah, as you said, his 9th 300-yard passing game of the year, tying Marino, Moon, and Warner for the NFL single-season record. Rich Gannon, 15 years in the league. Tim Brown, 15 years. Bill Romanowski, 15 years. Rod Woodson, 16 years. Jerry Rice, 18 years. He's now 40 years old. All these guys are still making Oakland's key plays.
Yeah, they're old, right? No, they're experienced. And all those names you named had a big part in the football game tonight. Age doesn't matter when you can think your way through it and play like this team did. And here's just some of the plays that happened. First and foremost, there's Charlie Garner. What's he going to do? Hops in there. Got a whole bunch of bodies here about to make the tackle. Explode. Now here's the point of contact. Down, no. Gets 4 extra yards. Chain mover, Charlie Garner. Here now. Who's this old guy right here? Jerry Rice. You say, why this play? Look at him set down. I know a lot of guys would run out of that hole and not allow their quarterback a place to throw. Sits down. And now he's going to turn here and give me a bunch of extra yards instead of going east and west and wasting time. Veteran move. Tim Brown. We know he's now the 1,000-catch guy, one of only 3. And have a look here. How many guys would run to be covered? Running to be covered means allowing this guy to cover you. Sees his quarterback's eyes, sit right down in here in the hole. Beautiful. Look at the space between the two. Tim Brown run, again, north and south after the catch. Rod Woodson, this guy's been in the league forever. He's on special teams. You think, let him quit? Effort. Gonna block. That had a say in what went on after a big kick return by the New York Jets. The veterans are making plays. They're not old, they're experienced.
And this guy's not old at 40, certainly. 4 catches, 66 yards in the game. He is the king of Monday night. More games, receptions, yards, and touchdowns than anybody else.
Pretty good, isn't he?
As good as ever at 40 years old. Let's go back out to Oakland now and listen in on Bill Callahan. Here's the Raiders coach live on SportsCenter.
Time in his career. But all in all, it was a great team victory. I thought our coaches did an excellent job of their preparation with their respective units. My hat goes off to Mark Trestman and Chuck Bresnahan and Bob Clasulo. They motivated their teams, their units, and we played, I thought, a very good game tonight. And there were some instances in the first half that we stubbed our toe. I felt and strongly felt that we got behind in the down and distance with the penalties. But aside from that, I thought our guys were very confident in the second half coming out, putting points on the board, and then obviously closing the game at the end. So, okay. Okay. Board, and then obviously closing the game at the end. So, okay. Well, I'm not sure, Art, if they were informed or not that there was going to be a stoppage. I believe they were, but I'm not positive, so you don't hold me to that. But our team was informed, and we knew what was going to transpire, and the referees and the officials knew about that stoppage. So I'm pretty sure that Herm did know, but it was in no way intended to mar the game or to take anything away from the Jets at that point. Well, of course we did. I think you know, we had an ongoing dialogue during that period of time, and you know, near the red zone, there near the fringe area, we continued to have discussion about what we were going to do and what we wanted to go to, and I think we were fortunate, and it just so happened that we did score in the next play.
Was that play the original call play, or did you change that and discuss it?
No, that was not the original play call. No, it was not.
Bill, ESPN reported that you had like 8 of the 15 plays scripted for Tim Brown. Was that so? And
Well, we have a number of plays that we script for Tim, and for Jerry and for Jerry Porter, plays that we like to go to. We always script plays out and list plays for their specific position, and we kind of dovetail those plays into, the situations that come up during the course of the game. But we always script out a number of plays for our players, as we go into each game. And not only do we have coverage beaters, but we do have obviously players that we align for opportunities. So yeah, we do script out a number of plays for our guys in that respect. I thought we were backed up by ourselves. I thought we were our own worst enemy in the first half. We backed up ourselves considerably, I think 3 or 4 times in one drive, and it got tougher to overcome as we moved along. But that's something we need to continue to work on and address. We really tried to pick up the tempo early in the game, and it was a very fast game for us offensively in terms of the tempo. And I thought that our guys got a little jumpy in that respect and created some nervousness, or for whatever you want to call it, that we get an offsides penalty, or we have some other fouls involved. So we need to correct it. Yeah, thank you.
So Bill Callahan and the Raiders 8-4 now, thanks in large part to Rich Gannon, Tim Brown, Jerry Rice. Big night from their veteran stars. And you take a look at the Raiders versus non-division opponents this season. Rich Gannon's led the way in each of their wins. They're 5-0 against such opponents. And tonight, just par for the course, just 351 passing yards. Actually, his second worst performance. And all of them pretty good.